let's bring in Tanner Saunders. Tanner, it was a wild game, but you know, I was impressed on both sides of the ball. The defense was very stout. They didn't give up an offensive touchdown to Perry, so the defense played really well.
Absolutely, they won their game 38-8, and as you said, they did not surrender an offensive touchdown. The low touchdown scored by Perry came when CG was back deep in their own territory, around their own 10-yard line, when in the air and snap went over the head of Rocky Santiago, who was recovered in the end zone for a Perry touchdown, and then the other two Perry points came by way of a safety after Chase Weed was tackled in the end zone on CG's second drive of the game, the drive which began at their own 1-yard line. So overall, it was a wire-to-wire victory. The defense was fantastic, and they're going to look to keep that same energy in this one. The offense got off to a hot start, and it was right off the bat. Their first drive, which went for a touchdown, it was only 3 plays. So this team got off to a hot start, and they're going to, like I said, they're going to look to keep that same energy heading into this one. And if they can do that, I think they give themselves a pretty good shot at 2-0.
Absolutely, and they played very good here at home. They have won their last 7 in a row. They have lost since 2017 on September 29th. They've won 9 out of their last 10 out of their last 12. So it's one of those things where since 2016 they're 10-2. It's not an easy place to come in anymore. You get a win, and that's something you got to do, Tanner. You got to hold on your home field, and then if you play 500 ball on the road, if you're good at home, you're going to be a good team.
Another thing about this game is, sometimes in broadcast, actually all the time in broadcast, think about storylines where let's say a team has maybe defeated a certain team for the past 5 games or something like that. But for this game, we didn't even have to come up with a storyline. This one just wrote itself. This is the revenge game for Canisteo-Greenwood. They had their season ended prematurely last season by this Golden Knights team last in the semifinal game. They were down 7-6 with 2:15 left in the fourth quarter, and they had the ball on their own 45-yard line, and then proceeded to march down the field all the way to the 1-yard line, where they scored the go-ahead rushing touchdown with 13 seconds remaining to secure the victory, and also completed a second-half shutout of this Canisteo-Greenwood Redskins team. So you know some of these young guys are going to have that in the back of their mind in this one. A heartbreaking victory to end their season prematurely, as I said, in the Class D semifinal. And obviously hate to lose in that fashion with a young team like that. On a last-second touchdown from the 1-yard line, York Pavilion in that game, 2 minutes left. They got the ball at their own 45-yard line, and then proceeded to march all the way down the field on that Redskin defense and punch it in, obviously, win the game 13-6. So, you know, that's going to be in the back of the Canisteo-Greenwood Redskins, but they're going to use that as extra fuel to have the fire tonight as they like to beat this York Pavilion team.
Absolutely, so that's something to watch. You know, they got that revenge factor from last year as far as losing in the semi. So they beat York Pavilion in the regular season, then lost in the semis, and now they kind of have a revenge factor. So that's what we have to look forward to. Why don't we go ahead and decide here for a minute? We'll take a break, then we'll come back and see if we can connect and play our interview that we have with and we'll get his thoughts on one, get his thoughts on his opponent tonight, and we will get set for kickoff. You are listening to It's Football.
That's fine, so he's been calling out. And, but he was very shy. I'm the shy side.
Joel,
I would say,
is it possible that there's like an external mic picking up? Like, I can hear their conversation as loud as Tanner. But I can hear the music. Like, I'm listening to the stream, the Ustream. And should I be hearing spots on Ustream? I'm not. I'm hearing myself.
Well, you guys have to be in charge of the. You guys have to be in charge of the siren. Hello? They're on, like,
on the season, taking on York Pavilion, the Golden Knights. Golden Knights came up short week 1 at 35-16 to a very, very good Notre Dame Batavia team. Actually, that score looks a lot better after last night's game against Notre Dame Batavia. As Notre Dame Batavia beat Perry 64-3 in their game last night. So, of course, Canisteo-Greenwood has played Perry, beating them 38-8. Notre Dame Batavia has now played Perry, beating them 64-3. So when you look at York Pavilion's performance against Notre Dame Batavia, probably not so bad now, 35-6. Let's see if we can check in with Coach Healy with Coach Healy's corner.
There were just a lot of very critical.
You probably did. So we'll check back with that here a little bit later. So the lights are on, and we are getting set to go as the teams are up.
And there were just I
forgot all my
What do you expect here tonight, Tanner? Do you expect this to be a lower scoring game? Do you expect that this is going to be a little bit higher scoring game? What are your expectations between these two teams here tonight?
I think it'll be a high scoring game for Canisteo-Greenwood because they're coming off a game in which they just put up 38 points and their opponent just surrendered 35 points last week against Notre Dame Batavia. Things got off to a rough start. Just over 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter of that game. They gave up a 30-yard rushing score to give the Irish a 7-0 lead. Then with just over a minute back in the first quarter, they gave up a 35-yard rushing score. They took a 13 up after then at the top with quarter number 2, another 35-yard rushing TD and another 50 to extend the Notre Dame Batavia lead 19-0. And after not seeing much from their run team, the Golden Knights, led by quarterback James Kennedy, began to air it out. Shotgun pass about 30 yards downfield. Receiver Josh Davis rest and took it 65 yards for a Golden Knights score. And after he completed the pass to Tim LaGeorge on the 2-point conversion, that cut the Notre Dame Batavia lead 19-8 with just under 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Notre Dame's next drive didn't really amount to anything, and after the punt attempt was blocked by Riley Stella, that put York Pavilion in business at the Irish 32-yard line, and on the ensuing drive, Kennedy completed the pass to Ethan Tillotson for 20 yards, and after making their way inside the Irish 5-yard line, a jet sweep touchdown and converted 2-point conversion by Caden Pugh put the Irish lead to 19-16 as both teams headed to a bye. The second half started out slow, but a 5:45 remaining in the third, the Irish capped it with a 55-yard touchdown pass that traveled 30 yards through the air. And after a successful 2-point conversion, Notre Dame Batavia increased their lead to 27-16. The Irish scored once more for good measure with 9 left in the fourth quarter on an 80-yard touchdown pass. Another 2-point conversion made the score 35-16 Notre Dame Batavia with overall, York Pavilion was outgained by Notre Dame Batavia 493-104 high scoring game for Canisteo. We saw them get off to a hot start last week. They used the ball with relative ease. Going up an opponent who just surrendered 493 yards of offense. After game, we saw Chase Weeks and Old Time both good on the ground, so against a defense that's good against an offense that's pretty good points, I think they're going to see a lot of scores.
All right, let's one more time go ahead and try to check in with Coach Keeley's corner.
You should, you know what you should do? Like, if you guys aren't on the session, if you guys are either a senior or a welcome student, and what that is how you can welcome a student or if you do a semester student, then you can choose the back. That's good because even as a welcome student, sometimes you just get somebody that might not be welcome. But if you do a semester student, then don't have them all.
I usually go and get a case to put under this, so this is a little higher. I keep it's not high enough.
very well. In the second half, just that need to throw the ball wasn't really there with the lead we had. We really wanted to kind of get out of there, kind of chew some game clock up. To be honest, we were a little banged up, so we had some personnel shifting. So with that, changes your game plan a little bit. So second half stats are not as plentiful or as big as they were in the first half, but we had to adjust a little bit. But overall, I was pleased with our execution. We had a couple mishaps, but things that we can clean up.
Coaches by nature are a little negative. Sometimes you got to look for, the negatives in the game, and you can't just watch the film and talk all positive. But coaching is a lot of psychology. You got to know when to bring the team up, and you got to know when to bring the team down. Really, three phases were great. I would say maybe the only thing of concern in a close game was the 2-point conversions. But what did you take away from the game that maybe were teaching moments for the team on film?
Yeah, we had film Monday before practice, and that's what we did. We showed a couple.
And then we went home and I made dinner. Because tonight's for Friday.
8 out of 11 are doing what they're supposed to do, and the other 3 are not. Trying to point out correcting mistakes and game film videotape is such a great teaching tool to do that. So, things that we wanted to take away from that is obviously taking care of the football. We gave them 8 points, with a fumble, snap, and the safety. So, kind of take care of the football on your own end of the field was a big concern that we want to clean up. But the other thing is what you draw up in practice as an opposing look that you prepare for all week, that will happen probably 80% of the time. At 20% of the time, they're going to wind up in something you're not used to. And it's in those moments, you go back to what you've been taught in preseason camp. And we, at times, kind of forgot that a little bit. So we got back to remember what your rules are if it's not exactly what it's drawn up. So, like I said, I was pleased with a lot of things, but there's some things like that we need to clean up and correct if we want to continue to be in a position to win football games every week.
And that brings me to the next question. So enough looking in the rearview mirror. Time now to look through the front windshield. And your opponent here tonight, the 0-1 York Pavilion Knights. You know them well. They ended your season painfully last year. I know they were in the stands on Friday night at Perry watching you. My guess is either you or your staff were watching them on Saturday when they lost to Notre Dame Batavia. What do you know about this team, and what did you see last week in person or on film, and what do you expect out of them tonight?
So they're a team that they also lost a number of talented seniors that were starters, and probably in the same situation, trying to find their the right combination, the right mix with a youthful team. But what I can tell you is that they play hard, and they're physical, and they're well coached. So I told the team this whole week that, be prepared for a physical football game and be prepared to play 4 quarters because, they will come ready to play. They will like to run the football. They play great defense. They have a couple unusual sets where their quarterback, who played primarily the whole game, I believe he was their left guard last year. So that's kind of interesting. You don't see that making that transition from offensive line to quarterback. So they must have a lot of faith in this young man, and he actually moves pretty well in the pocket for being 245 pounds. So, we gotta tackle well when he takes off, and they're going to be ready to play 4 quarters of hard-nosed football.
Coach, you guys have won 7 out of your last 10 games dating back to last year. You were a outstanding player at Cal Mum and then at AU in the early 2000s. I've gotten conflicting feelings on the evolution of the game and the stats and the video online with Max Preps, NFHS, some other sites, Huddle. Some coaches, and not just in football, but in basketball and other sports, some coaches love being able to go and see the stats and maybe see more video of their opponent. And other coaches don't like having that stuff out there because they feel like they're showing their hand too much, so they won't put up their players' stats online because they don't want to give away who's doing what. That really wasn't out there for you as a player, and you guys were still obviously very successful at Kale Mum. You won a sectional and state title. So do you think it's easier or harder now with all of that data and footage out there?
That's a great question. You know, that's something that my assistant coaches and I were chatting about just casually the other day about, you know, how Huddle has saved some relationships, you know, because I know, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, if you wanted to get a good opponent scout, you're either going and filming yourself or you're trading with the coach on a Sunday.
Right.
And I'm actually pretty good friends with the Calum coach, the current one. His name is Bill Donegan. We were chatting this summer, and he was a longtime coach at Honey Falls, Lima, and retired, and then took the opening at Calum when it opened a couple years ago. And his words to me were, Huddle saved marriages. Because, you know, back in the 90s when he's coaching, like, it's really, you spent your whole weekend prepping for your next opponent, where now I get the exchange Friday night. I'm in the school Saturday. I'm there for, you know, 5-6 hours. I can go home to my wife. We can have dinner. We can do whatever we want Sunday. So I'm in the school of thought where I think it's okay. And honestly, if my stats and my videos out there, like I'm not hiding much.
Right.
At the end of the day, you still got to line up and play football.
Sure. What game is going to favor you guys? They lost 35-16. You won 38-8. Does higher games favor this team for you, or because you're so good defensively, you know, can this be a 14-8 game and you're going to feel comfortable?
You know, that's something I haven't given much thought. If this was last year, I think last year it took us a while to hit our groove offensively, and we really relied on their defense. So that's why last week I was pleased to see us get some early scoring drives. I think no matter what, our defense is obviously very well coached, but how physical and fast they are, I'm comfortable, I guess, whatever situation that we're in, that they can come up with a stop or they can make a big play and keep us in this game. So that's a testament to Coach Kohler and what he's been able to do in a short time with our defense. If we can get off to a fast start like we did last week, it is comforting to know that our defense, if they play the way they're capable, you know, we can do a lot of good things.
And my last question, revenge factor is pretty strong in football and in sports. So last year you beat YP in the regular season, so they had the revenge factor in the semis. So now they've beat you. Do you feel that gives your team an advantage because you've lost the last game and you have the revenge card to play?
Well, we're hopeful that it's, I guess, some motivation for our young men, especially the ones that were on the field last year. And, you know, there's a number of players that came up from JV that didn't experience it, but I know they watched it. So it's been something that we've mentioned, like this is a team that got the better of us and got to play an additional week and took away your season. But I think the biggest thing, Joel, is it's our home opener. You know, you want to defend your turf, and it's been a place that's been good to us over the last couple of years, and we want to continue that. So that might be our biggest motivator, is, you know, playing well at home in front of our crowd, in front of our fans.
Well, I think you hit it right on the head. I've heard that from several people, opposing players, coaches, that, you know, it's not just a layup or an easy win going to a CG anymore. It is a tough place to come in and play. The crowds are there, they're involved, and the team is better. And so that home field advantage has certainly become something for you and your ball team here over the last couple of years. Listen, Coach, we wish you the best of luck out there tonight against York Pavilion, and we'll chat with you next week.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's
head coach Paul Keeley. In his 6th season, his team 7-3 in their last 10 games. We'll be back with more of the Countdown to Kickoff pregame show on the Redskins Radio Network. And we are back. We want to thank Coach Paul Keeley. And we are getting just about set, Tanner, as this is just about kickoff time here in Canisteo. As these two teams, the national anthem has played. The captains are out there. And we will, as I said, since they've done the national anthem here, we'll do it here in just a second for you. And then we will be ready for some football, as it is just about go time. So let's do this. Let's step aside. We will do the national anthem, which has been graciously sang by the Canisteo-Greenwood chorus. Okay, so here we go. To Honor America is the Canisteo-Greenwood chorus.
Hello, this is Miss Leah Shear, and in honoring America, please welcome the Canisteo-Greenwood Senior High Chorus and their singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Nobody outside this building still gives us a chance. About 8.5 minutes, that bell's gonna ring. Hey, the most important thing that we do is that we answer the bell. That we come out of our corner and we fight. Hey, all I want is all you got. And then we need you to be that elite focus. That zone we're talking about. Hey, because when you're in the zone, you're not worried about the crowd. You're not worried about the weather because you're in the zone. And you're so focused on your job and you're so locked in on your job, you're not worried about anything else. You go communicate and you go do your job.
It's game time.
Now is your time. Wait on nothing. Make every play you can. Hey, most importantly, have fun. Let's go. Come on.
Let's go out to the stadium with a gentleman that will have the call of all the action.
Hey, we're all we got? We're all we need. We're all we got? We're all we need. Yeah, we all three. 1, 2, 3.
Now, the voice of Canisteo-Greenwood Redskins football, Joel Orion.
And we are underway here at Canisteo-Greenwood, and here is your play-by-play voice, Tanner Saunders.
Yes, and things have gotten underway here. Canisteo-Greenwood on second down in the I formation. Here's Rocky Santiago, drops back to pass and fires. That one is caught, and that's going to move the chains. First down, CG. That appears to be Andrew Morling on the far side of the field with the reception. So Andrew Morling had a fantastic game last time.
Yeah.
5 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown, and he gets things started off on a high note with the first completion and the game, and it moves the sticks for the first time on the night for CG. Ball at their own 48. The opening kickoff was rather short. So Canisteo-Greenwood not too long of a field ahead of him. Here's Santiago, hands it off, and running up the gut is the ball carrier. He's going to pick out, looks like about 4 yards, and then is stopped. That'll bring up second down. That was Chase Weeks on the carry. That'll make it second down and 6 for the Redskins.
We'll take a look at the offensive line after this play.
It's going to be Rocky Santiago coming out under center in the I form. Fullback in the game. Looks like 2 receivers split out wide. Santiago takes it. It's going to play fake. He's going to roll to his right. He's going to throw down the field. That one a little high, and it is picked off. Intercepted there by York Pavilion. So a quick turnover. That one just off the hands of the intended receiver, and waiting in the wings was the York Pavilion defender. So a quick turnover.
That's Rocky's first interception on the season, so we'll give you the defensive starters then, as we didn't get a chance to give you the offensive starters there as they turned over the ball. Their first turnover here in tonight's game. Let's go with the defensive line.
Caleb Ticka, junior, 50. Coach Keeley does what he wants.
Nate Button, junior, 77, D-line.
Ryder Slayton, junior, 88. Nose tackle, and I love Josh Allen.
Austin Daly, senior, 62, defensive end.
Brennan Beabout, senior, 24, outside linebacker.
Jacob Hoteling,
senior, number 10, middle linebacker. Just going to send it.
Jonathan Cox, junior, number 35.
Rocky Santiago.
That's the defensive line and the linebackers. We'll give you the defensive backs here in a minute.
Well, the first play was a pitch out to the left side here for York Pavilion, but it's going to be going back, moving backwards, as there was a flag on the play. Looks like it was a 5-yard penalty, so we'll have 1st and 15 for York Pavilion upcoming. They are led by the junior quarterback, James Kennedy, who actually played offensive line for them last year, but has made the move back down to quarterback while keeping his position on defense as nose tackle, which is rather interesting because you don't see a quarterback / nose tackle every day. Here's Kennedy back to throw. His completion on the left side is caught. They get the penalty yardage back and then some. That was to Ethan Tillotson, the junior, coming up with the catch.
Look at that defensive secondary.
Rocky Santiago, junior, number 3, cornerback.
Dale Hoteling, junior, number 7, cornerback, and Coach Keeley does what he wants.
Caleb Odell-Orion, junior, number 16.
Andrew Morling, junior, number 22, strong safety. Chase Weeks, junior, number 2, free safety.
So there is your defensive back and your defensive alignment for Coach Keeley. Defensive coordinator is athletic director Chris Kohler.
And Kennedy hands it off on 2nd down. That one will be a first. It was Ethan Doran on the run, and he will pick up the first down of the night for York Pavilion. Each team sitting with 1 first down, as it'll be the chains moving for York Pavilion. They have it at the Canisteo-Greenwood 43, so the first time either team has made it into enemy territory. Here's Kennedy in the pistol. He's going to pitch it out to Ethan Doran, this time running right, going to try and get to the edge, and he's able to do so, keeping his feet moving, and he gets to right around where the chains are, and they're going to move again, so Ethan Doran with another first down run for the Golden Knights. York Pavilion moving the ball nicely here, but their run game was rather ineffective last week against Notre Dame Batavia. They only racked up just over 100 yards of total offense, so it's a good sign for them to see the ball moving early. Here's Kennedy. He is going to hand it off now, running right, trying to get to the edge, cutting back up the middle, and quickly swarmed is Joshua Davis. That'll make it 2nd down. That was actually a loss on the play. Looks like about a 2-yard loss. So York Pavilion facing a 2nd and long upcoming. (35-16) was their last game against Notre Dame Batavia. A loss. They got down quick 19-0, but were able to make it 19-16 heading into half and just couldn't recover. Here's Kennedy, pitch to the left side, and they pick up the lost yardage there and then some. That was Caden Pete on the run.
And when these two teams played in the semifinals last year, it was 12-7, an absolute slobber knocker defensively, as obviously the score indicated. And York Pavilion scored with 13 seconds left in that game. CG led most of the game 7-6.
And CG was actually shut out in the second half of that game. They did not score a single point in the second half. So, you know, the fact that it was a pretty disheartening loss, add that. That's just more fuel to the fire for the Redskins. Here is Kennedy in the pistol. It's going to be a quarterback keeper, and Kennedy rumbling forward, the big man, able to pick up the first down for York Pavilion. That is a scary sight when James Kennedy takes off to run. He is a rather large player there for York Pavilion.
And just like last week, we are being joined by Hunter Lee down on the sidelines tonight. Let's go down to Hunter. Hunter, what's the feeling like here for the home opener for the Redskins?
Well, I got to talk with the team and feel their energy, and it was something I haven't done tonight before. It's a nice, cool evening, 64 degrees tonight, and I stood out while they played the national anthem, in the sense of, like, pride and togetherness and one unit, one team, you know, one mentality is what I felt. And when they rose their helmets up in the air right towards the end, when she sang The Brave, it was like something crazy. I didn't know what to feel. The sky's a little overcast. I got that flag caller from earlier, too. It was an offensive holding. Coach Keeley says for defense, he just wants John Cox, Caleb O'Dell-Orion, and Blake Updike to hit that pocket hard.
All right, and looks like play is stopped for the moment as here comes York Pavilion jogging back onto the field. James Kennedy, as I mentioned, that is not someone you want to see rumbling right down the middle. He's 6'2", 235, playing quarterback. Another big guy out there, kind of that Ben Roethlisberger, Cam Newton build, where you know he's just a big guy running up the middle. There's not much you can do about that. Here's a delayed give on a jet sweep, and the tackle is going to be made there, but there's a flag flying on the field. Caden Pete for the moment on the run.
And Hunter, we're going to leave you up and live, so you just keep your microphone off, and whenever you have something and you want to report, you're just going to be able to pop right on here. You're kind of like Tony Saragusa, you know, how they have Tom Brennerman, the Moose, Daryl Johnston, and Tony Saragusa. Of course, it would take about 15 Hunters to make up to Tony Saragusa, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's a lot to ask out of me down here, Joel. I saw Kennedy running out here, or running this offensive line, and it's crazy because I was talking to Tanner before the game, and I saw him launching some bombs, and I heard the ball hit his wide receiver, and it is a bullet train coming in real hot. And the best part about it, for the run game, he can just hand it off and lead that running back right down the sideline and tackle through anybody. The size of him is crazy.
That's right. It helps when you have a quarterback that can also double as an offensive lineman. It's like having an extra pulling guard out there. On that last play, his pass was caught rolling out to the left. He found Riley Stella, but little to no gain on the play. That'll make it 2nd down and long from the CG 17-yard line.
Yeah, essentially, CG led most of that game in the semifinals at Kale Mum. It was a rainy, cold night, and the defense was stout. They were just on the field too long in that second half.
Here's Kennedy trying to set up a screen on the right side, looking for Riley Stella once again, but the CG defense was all over that, not having any of it. That'll bring up 3rd and long.
He caught it at about the 20 guys, and backward progress pushed him back a few feet there.
Looks like they're going to mark him down at the CG 21, so a loss of 4 on the play. I get the idea, you know, trying to get some blockers out in front, but the execution was not quite there.
Beautiful night for football, as Hunter said. 64, a little wind, not too hot, not too cold.
3rd and 16. Kennedy, he's just going to throw a deep ball. That one is out of the end zone and incomplete. Andrew Morling was in coverage. Riley Stella, the 6'4" tight end, was the intended receiver. So that'll bring up 4th down and about 16 from the 21-yard line. And it is a windy night here, so field goals might be out of the play. I assume we're going to see a similar play to the last one, just a jump ball, trying to get something. Maybe at the worst you draw a pass interference.
Well, my guess would be, you know, they were in the stands last Friday night at Perry. I would think they're going to try to stay away from wherever Jacob Hoteling is. He's the Section 5 Class D Player of the Week. He had 2 interceptions, 1 pick six, so they're certainly going to know where that middle linebacker is. He loves the rove, and he can pick it off.
Here's James Kennedy in the shotgun, and now he's going to motion his back out to the left side. So an empty gun formation. Here's Kennedy being pressured. He's just going to have to let this one fly, and it is incomplete. That's going to be a turnover on downs as York Pavilion gets into the red zone but are unable to cash in. It's 0-0 with 7:12 remaining in the first quarter.
So good job there by the Redskins defense. They buckle down in the red zone, and, you know, that's what is important. One of the greatest minds in football, if not especially defense, Bill Belichick, he'll tell you yards don't mean anything. I worry about points per game. We can give up as many yards as we want, but as long as we buckle down and give up field goals or hold them scoreless in a drive, that's the most important thing, and that's what the Redskins did right there.
That bend but don't break mentality, that is correct. Here we go, in first down. First down for the Redskins. It's going to be Hoteling taking the snap, and now he's going to keep it himself. Hoteling trying to get to the edge, and it looks like he'll pick up a yard, if anything. It'll be 2nd down for the Redskins upcoming.
For the Redskins, guys, the wind for this first half is going to be in their favor. It's blowing in and against York Pavilion's face right now, so it's pushing that ball back for Kennedy. I feel like San Diego, once he gets it up in the air, it might be easier for him to get to the connection.
The junior quarterback is, he's now, I believe, 7-2, I think, is the starter. He was 9 for 10 last week. I know that, for 95 yards and a touchdown.
Fantastic game for him last week, opening up the season on the high note. He was the quarterback in their loss to this team last year. He is going to hand it off up the middle on second down and fighting ahead. Look at this run by, I believe that is Dale Hotailing, yes. That's an excellent run right there. Just was able to hit the hole and kept his feet moving. That's one thing as a running back, a pretty desirable trait. Got to keep those feet moving, never give up, and Dale Hotailing with a perfect showcase of that on that play, and that will move the chains. It's going to be another Canisteo-Greenwood first down.
Let's take a look at that offensive line.
Nate Button, junior, 77. Caleb Kicka, junior, 50. O-line, Coach Keeley does what he wants.
Austin Vance, junior, 75, center. My name's Jacob Mullen. I'm a junior. My number 72. I'm a right guard, and an old saying from my town is, you mess with the bull, you're getting the horns.
Austin Daly, senior, 62.
So there's the Hog Mollies up front.
And Santiago trying to go right down the middle, a little floater to Owen Chafee. That one falls incomplete. Good defense by York Pavilion. That'll make it 2nd and 10. From their own 33.
And Jacob Mullen has been a good offensive lineman throughout the system as he's come up. He might be one of the best offensive linemen in, well, it's not Livingston County anymore because they went to a federated schedule, but he certainly might be one of the best in Class D, if not Section 5, when it's all said and done.
And with a mentality like he has, you mess with the bull, you're getting the horns. It's perfectly understandable why. Here's the carry on second down, and that one is swallowed up in the backfield by York Pavilion. So we'll have a 3rd and long upcoming for the Redskins.
He's a typical offensive lineman. He just likes hitting things. He doesn't really even care really what it is too much. He just likes hitting things. Let's take a look at that offensive backfield.
Rocky Santiago, junior, number 3.
Quarterback, Jacob Hotailing, senior, number 10. Just going to send it.
Chase Weeks, junior, number 2. Running back.
That's the offensive backfield. They need a first down here if they want to keep the drive alive.
Santiago going to come out in the pistol. Looks like Chase Weeks right behind him in the backfield. And Santiago takes the snap. Just a quick drop. He's going to fire this one deep. Hotailing's got a step, and he's got the catch. Oh, I thought he had it. It just bounces off his hands, and visibly upset there is Hotailing as he punches the turf there. That was a potential big completion in the making, but that one falls incomplete. 4th down and long upcoming for CG from their own 32. And it looks like they're going to send the punt unit on.
And that is a good transition. We'll take a look at the Canisteo-Greenwood wide receivers.
Andrew Morling, junior, number 22. Wide receiver, Dale Hotailing, junior, number 7. Wide receiver, and Coach Keeley does what he wants. Owen Chafee, junior, number 44. Tight end.
And Owen Chafee is your tight end.
Nice punt there by Andrew Morling. That one was a boomer, and it's going to pin York Pavilion back at about their own 32-yard line. Drove the returner back a fair distance. A great punt there by Andrew Morling, setting them up in their own territory.
And we don't talk about that much, but he did a good job. He actually averaged, I think, 51.5 yards punting last week. Jacob Hotailing not only did a great job defensively, he had 103 yards rushing, but he actually also averaged around 25 yards per kickoff return as well. So they really did good in all 3 phases. It's a little bit tighter of a game here tonight against York Pavilion.
Now here's James Kennedy, takes the snap, drops back, and the play is blown dead. There's a flag on the field that's going to be a false start on York Pavilion, so they'll move back 5 yards on this one.
I just got to talk with Chase Weeks before the game, and he had said that you guys remember his injury last week with his ankle there, how he came out a little early and it was hurting him and bothering him. Well, he told me this evening that it's all fine and better. The doctor has nothing to worry about, but they did give him a fancy boot to wear around on the field. He's got 2 months for recovery, or Nolan Garden does. And Chase Weeks actually has his ankle wrapped up in an ace bandage right now.
So that'll be something to watch. He is their go-to running back. 21 carries, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns last week.
But luckily, if Chase Weeks were to sustain an injury, they do have a very, very, very capable running mate in the backfield in Jacob Hotailing. He had 7 carries for 103 last week. So that helps to take some pressure off of Chase Weeks. It'll be second down and looks like 11 or 12 upcoming for York Pavilion. Here's Kennedy. They're going to do another little quarterback power there, and that one is blown up at the line of scrimmage by that Canisteo-Greenwood defense. Third and long upcoming.
Yeah, it's interesting. Coach Keeley talked about that in the coach's corner. You don't normally see a young man going from like an offensive guard position one year to quarterback. As he said, they must have a lot of confidence in his talent and his ability to run this offense, and you're going to have to bring it if you're going to want to bring him down as a quarterback. He's not your average quarterback back there.
He's about 6'4", 235, so imagine that coming downhill at you. And also he's got an arm on him. He can throw the ball. Here's Kennedy. He's going to roll to his right, set his feet, nothing doing really, so he's going to try and escape up the field, but he is dropped. That is going to be a sack. It looks like Nathan Button on the play, so that'll be 4th and long, and it looks like York Pavilion's going to send out the punt unit.
As the kids call him Nate Dogg, he had 3 sacks last week. This defense, Tanner, had 7 sacks last week. You know, we talk about the offense and everything and the pick 6, but they got a lot of pressure last week against Perry. 7 sacks. Mason had a couple, and Nate Dogg, as they call him, had 3 as well.
And a lot of those were like what we saw right there, coverage sacks, just nothing being open down the field. And there's Jacob Hotailing at the return out at about their own 43, so that is where CG will take over for their 3rd drive of the game.
So this is kind of like the semifinal game in regards to they're going back and forth, and no team offensively is really able to get any momentum. They're just kind of punting back and forth. Right now, it's a field position game.
I feel mainly, guys, that we got a defensive game on their hands, and if Canisteo can use their defense to beat through that line, Kennedy doesn't have, you know, that speed and quick alertness, so if they can get to him in the pocket quick and break that down, they'll take all of his throwing away.
Here's Santiago. He's going to pitch to Chase Weeks. He gets to the edge on the right side, and it looks like he is going to dive ahead. We'll wait and see for an official spot, but that looked like a first down to me. Good run by Chase Weeks, and they are going to move the sticks. Canisteo-Greenwood, first down. They have 3, and York Pavilion also has 3, according to my records.
And they do a great job, you mentioned it, spreading the football around. Last week, Chase Weeks, 2 touchdowns. Hotailing, 1 touchdown. Andrew Morling, 1 touchdown. So a lot of weapons, and Coach Keeley, he's an offensive guy. He knows he's got playmakers, and he wants to get them touches.
Ball's at about the 35-yard line, guys, on York Pavilion's 35.
And here's Rocky Santiago. He's going to hand it up the gut. And that one, Chase Weeks, yet again, looks like he's going to pick up about 5 yards. So that'll make it 2nd down upcoming. Chase Weeks talked about the injury concern with him earlier, wearing a little ace bandage, but he's moving around pretty nicely out there, if I do say so myself, showing off some shiftiness, able to get around his blockers. And he has got Canisteo-Greenwood sitting pretty at the moment in York Pavilion territory.
Yeah, Chase Weeks said that it wasn't bothering him any. You know, it bothered him in the moment, but after the game ended, he said he just walked it off.
Santiago now going to hand it off to the up back. Looks like Jacob Hotailing. And that one, little to no gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down upcoming for the Redskins from the York Pavilion 42-yard line. 3rd and 5. The Redskins 0-1 on 3rd down thus far.
This series actually dating back to 2004. It's 7-7, so this has been a back-and-forth series between these two teams.
Here's Santiago. They're going to pitch to Chase Weeks, cutting up the field, and Weeks looks like he's going to be tackled short. It's going to be, yep, it's going to be tackled just short. It's going to be about 4th and 2, so pretty manageable situation here for the Redskins. They're going to keep the offense on the field. Kind of stuck in no man's land at the moment. Too far to kick a field goal, but too close to punt, and with it being 4th and 2, you have no choice but to go for it here.
We're at about the 27-yard line.
Here's Rocky Santiago in the I formation, and they're going to hand it off to Weeks. Puts his head down.
Oof,
but
there wasn't much there.
Yeah, he runs into a brick wall there, that York Pavilion defense. So the Redskins denied, and it'll be York Pavilion ball.
So they tried to go off the right side. They obviously feel maybe more comfortable and feel like maybe they got an advantage on that right side of the ball. And great job there by York Pavilion to blow that up. They got penetration, and Chase Weeks just didn't even have a hole to try to look through to get those 2 yards. But really, no harm, no foul. They were pretty deep into York Pavilion's territory. You're not going to punt it there. It would have been pretty hard to pooch kick that for Andrew Morling. So if anything, they flipped the field position with that drive, and now York Pavilion has a little bit more of a longer field to go in this defensive battle, as we are still in the first quarter here on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard. 12 seconds to go in the first quarter, and we are scoreless.
Here's Kennedy going to hand it off, and running up the middle for a short gain on the play. That appears to be Ethan Doran on the carry. And that first quarter, if I do say so myself, flew right by. We're at the end of quarter number 1, where it is 0-0.
Well, it sure went by a lot faster, I feel like, than last Friday night.
Sure. Absolutely.
That is for sure. We'll take a break, and we will be back. You are listening to the Redskins Radio Network.
There has been one leader in the beer business in Hornell, Michael John's Mini Market. Michael prides himself on having the best selection of beer at the best price of any convenience store in the Hornell area. You'll find hand-picked items from local breweries to breweries halfway across the world. Michael John's is also the king of closeout beer. When distributors have too many cases, they sell them to Michael John's at a discount, and the savings are passed on to you. Michael John's Mini Market at 7499 Seneca Road North, Hornell.
The Ryan Agency supports local students and athletes. They appreciate dedication, teamwork, and hometown pride. That's why they give back, sponsoring many youth academic and sports activities. Contact the Ryan Agencies today, your hometown supporter and source for all things insurance.
Insurance protection you can rely on. The Ryan Agency.
You're listening to Canisteo-Greenwood football on the Redskins Radio Network.
And here we go. We are back here at the reservation in Canisteo for their home opener. We're just about to start the second quarter. Both teams 0-0. It's a scoreless draw thus far, as offense has been hard to come by. Here is Kennedy. They're going to hand it off, but that one's stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Actually, looks like that might be a loss on the play. Canisteo-Greenwood all over that one. That was Ethan Doran on the carry once again, unable to find any breathing room. So we're going to have about 3rd and mid, 3rd and 7 on the play. Here's Kennedy, and he's going to keep it himself, the big man, trying to get the edge on the left side, and he's just bowling over people. James Kennedy looks like he's going to pick up the first down as his helmet comes off after the play. And we'll wait till it's official.
The helmet came off without a foul, guys. It just rolled off the ground.
Yep, Kennedy got rolled over by a CG defender, and the helmet popped off, but the chains will move, and Kennedy is rewarded for his troubles with a York Pavilion first down.
11:32 to go, second quarter on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard. It's scoreless.
You know, I'm a pretty tall guy myself, guys. I'm 6'4", and Kennedy stands. I feel like he stands taller than me. Maybe it's just his cleats, but it's kind of interesting that they switched directions only after the first quarter instead of the half. Maybe it's the win.
And now they're going to hand it off, running to the outside. Doran gets to the edge. He's got the first down and then some. Finally dragged out of bounds by Hotailing, it looks like. But York Pavilion starting to find their groove in the run game. They pick up another first down.
And, you know, Hunter picked up on something. The national anthem is obviously very important and emotional at a lot of schools. But, of course, Nick Clark graduated from here. You know, he was a state trooper. He passed in the line of duty. He served in the military. So it is a very emotional thing here for the school and the community. They always have Nick Clark in their heart and in their mind.
I did not know that he had graduated from here. That's something I remember hearing about his passing, and I saw that he was invited to Buffalo Bills tryouts, actually. So, you know, it seems like he is very prevalent in the area, and his memory still lives on. And
he had a great collegiate career as well at Alfred University. Great football player.
Yes, so absolutely. The fact that they continue to honor his memory is just fantastic, you know, as he passed away in the line of duty, as Joel said. So it's a good thing that he remains in everyone's memory. Here we go. It's going to be second down. Kennedy took the carry on the last play, about 2nd and 5. Now Kennedy going to drop back to pass. CG brings the blitz. Kennedy trying to get rid of it, but he is dropped, and a flag comes in. Let's see with that one. It looks like it's going to be Kitka got in there on the sack.
Now, I've seen quarterbacks, rarely, but quarterbacks wear 20. Bernie Kosar comes to mind, Doug Flutie, Heath Schuler. I've never seen a quarterback wear number 43. That is the first time I've ever seen a quarterback wear 4-3 under center. That is an interesting look.
I got the call down on the play here. It was a hit below the legs, or below the knees. It's a 15-yard penalty on York Pavilion.
So that's a big penalty.
Yes, as if the sack wasn't enough lost yardage. Now they're going to move it back a little further. They would have been better off just taking the sack on that one. They would have lost less yardage
right.
with the penalty being assessed here. So it's 2nd and about a mile here for York Pavilion. They are back into their own territory. Here's Kennedy going to hand it off, try and get some of the penalty yardage back, which they do, but they're still going to have a ways to go. Is fighting ahead. Look at the effort here.
Redskins in their home red jerseys with white numbers, white trim, the black pants, the red helmet with the R on the side of it. York Pavilion, they're in their away jerseys, the white jerseys with purple numbers and gold trim and the purple pants. They are the Golden Knights.
Sometimes it's hard to tell teams apart because they wear similar jerseys, but tonight, not the case at all. Here is Kennedy in the shotgun on 3rd down, going to drop the pass. He's going to throw to the flats. That one is incomplete. Caleb Kitka, if that one would have been any more behind Ethan Tillotson, Kitka could have been going the other way because he had a chance to break on that ball as it was behind the intended receiver.
It actually went right into his hands down here, guys. He almost had it, but when he caught it, it bounced off one hand and hit the other and just fumbled it down.
And now it's going to be about 4th and 13. And they have sent on the punting unit, so York Pavilion there after a promising start to the drive. It stalls out. Here is the punt. It's a low-line drive. Looks like it's kicked off one of his teammates or maybe a CG defender, but either way, that's going to count as a block, and CG gets the ball in good field position.
Another great special teams play. Now, that ball went incomplete, and that ball was thrown out to the left flat and thrown fairly quickly. I did not see and I did not pay attention to what was happening on the right side of the field, but it might have been a broken coverage on the other side because I saw the secondary of Canisteo-Greenwood, a cornerback and safety talking to each other. It looks like they might have been a little bit of miscommunication on that play. They were each pointing at each other. That was one of those, I thought you had him. No, I thought you had him. So it might have lucked out there. York Pavilion, it looked like they had a play there, a play on, and he went to the guy that was designed. It was a quick hitter. They weren't looking to scan the field on that play.
Here's Rocky Santiago on 1st down. They're going to hand it off to the up back, Jonathan Cox. And it looks like he is going to get to about the 40-yard line. Short pickup on the play, about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down.
We're under the 9-minute mark on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard. 2nd quarter, it's scoreless. The Redskins have the ball, and they are right at the 50-yard line, 2nd and 7.
Here's Rocky Santiago coming out in the pistol. Looks like Weeks in the backfield, and he's going to have Cox right beside him. They're going to give it off to Chase Weeks, trying to bounce that one outside. and he is tackled after a gain of maybe 1 on the play, so that'll make it 3rd down and about 6 upcoming for the Redskins.
Boy, I tell you, Tanner, it looked so easy last Friday night. It's a lot more tough sledding out there right now. The holes are not as big as they were last Friday night.
Credit to that York Pavilion defense.
That's what I was just going to say, Tanner. These guys are like standing good 5-6 inches over this Canisteo Redskin team, and it's clearly clogging the lane for the running backs on Canisteo-Greenwood.
Here's Santiago in the pistol on 3rd down. He's going to play action, roll right, and he's going to load and fire. That one is caught by Hotailing, steps out of bounds, but it appears as if he picks up the CG 1st down. And no, they're going to mark him short, actually. Nope, never mind. The chain gang makes up their mind finally. Move the sticks. That is going to be a Canisteo-Greenwood 1st down.
That was a beautiful catch, and he almost had that spin back in bounds there, but it was literally just his toes crossing over.
It's a good play there. They ran the play-action bootleg and then get everyone running to one side of the field and make the throw easy for Rocky Santiago. Here he is in the pistol on 1st down. They're going to hand it off to Chase Weeks. That time a nice hole opened up, and Chase Weeks is going to get a pretty nice chunk here, and it'll make it 2nd and about 6, looks like.
So a nice little run there by Chase Weeks as they're not going to go away from the run. Coach Keeley, even though he's a former quarterback, a standout at Cal Mum, sectional and state champ, and his name is all over the record books at AU, he likes to be at 60-40, 6 passes to 4 runs. He likes to be balanced.
Here we go. Here's Santiago in the pistol. He's not even going to drop back, just going to put it up for Morling. He went up and got it, but it looks like he was out of bounds. He did that same thing last week, just went up, tried to moss him, but the throw let him out of bounds, so that'll make it 3rd down and about 6.
Yeah, that is totally just back corner fade. Just Rocky gets the ball, steps back, and just throws it. You can do that when you got a 6'3" guy on the outside like that.
And it looked like he actually came down with it, just wasn't in bounds, but Andrew Morling, we know who can make those spec catches there. Try to do it again. Unsuccessful. It'll bring up 3rd down and 6. Here's Rocky Santiago. Looks like barking out orders. He sends Chase Weeks into the slot, so it'll be an empty backfield. Santiago, the lone man. He takes the snap. He's going to drop back, fire quickly to the outside. Here's Hotailing, and he got the 1st down, stays in bounds. Here's Hotailing racing down the sideline, and he is in for the touchdown. 39 yards on the catch and run for Jacob Hotailing, and CG gets on the board.
They're going for a point after here, guys. That was an incredible catch, huh?
Yeah, he did a great job. And as you said, Hunter, he tried to do that spin the last time and he stepped out, but he did a great job of catching that ball and keeping his eyes upfield, getting to the outside and getting down the sideline.
And he had the presence to walk the tightrope there on the sideline, making sure he stayed in bounds.
Now they're going to go for 2. They struggled with this last week.
Actually, they're keeping the offense on the field. Yep. Santiago under center. They're going to pitch it to Chase Weeks. Weeks gets to the edge, buries his head down, and bulls in for the 2-point conversion. So Canisteo erupting there on that possession. Make it 8-0 with 6:36 left in quarter number 2.
So they strike first. They are now up on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard. It's 8-0. We will be back shortly here as you are listening on AM 1480 WLEA, on WLEA.net, and on Ustream.tv. We'll be back shortly.
Quality collision work, lifetime warranty, free estimates, free loaner vehicle, and help with your deductible. It's not a myth. It's McCourt's Auto Refinishing, Route 36, Canisteo. McCourt's, your complete auto body and refinishing center. McCourt's can handle fender benders to deer damage to paint jobs. For auto body repairs, make it McCourt's Auto Refinishing. McCourt's Auto Refinishing, Route 36, south of Canisteo.
Get your child braces from Salmon Orthodontics, Hornell and Wellsville. They're happy to help bring you this game. Dr. Marlon Salmon and Dr. Deborah DeSaw and their staff will look after your child's teeth and braces and get those teeth straightened. Salmon Orthodontics in Hornell and Wellsville. In Wellsville on South Main Street and in Hornell on Broadway. To see the kinds of braces they offer and all they can do for your children's teeth, visit them online, salmonorthodontics.com.
Hey, this is Austin Daly. You're listening to CG Football on the Redskins Radio Network.
We are back, and the Redskins are up 8-0 on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard. Once again, they have a lead in this game, and they've led most of this season so far.
Here's the first down play for York Pavilion, and that's going to be a loss as Canisteo is right in the backfield to snuff that run play. But as Joel mentioned, Canisteo-Greenwood has drawn first blood here in their home opener with 6.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. It was a third down, and Rocky Santiago threw a little pass in the left flat to Jacob Hoteling, and he was able to race down the sideline where he scampered in for a 39-yard score. And Canisteo-Greenwood, after a successful two-point conversion by Chase Weeks, find themselves up 8-0. And now York Pavilion's going to be facing about a 2nd and 12. Here's Kennedy in the shotgun, going to drop back. Look, they're trying to set a screen to Ethan Doran. If that one was low on a worm burner there, that one just, that throw low to the ground. Tillotson looks like Ethan Doran had to scoop it off the turf, but it looks like they're going to count that as incomplete. And even if it was complete, Nathan Button was right there to put a stop to that one. So that'll bring up about 3rd and 12 for York Pavilion.
Yeah, that was Jacob Hoteling. So kind of a nickname for the offense they've got going is Cash. They are Cash Money, and that stands for Chase Weeks, Andrew Hoteling, although that time it was Jacob Hoteling, Santiago, and the other H is for the other Hoteling.
And here we go. That pass is incomplete. Looks like Morling was able to make a play on that ball there, diving towards the turf.
So it stands for Chase, Andrew, Santiago, and Hoteling. So those are the 4 stars on the offensive side, and 2 of them hooked up there in their last drive. So they have been Cash Money on the offensive side so far.
And it looks like Canisteo-Greenwood just got slapped with a pass interference there on that 3rd down. So that will move the chains. Not ideal. You'd rather a team properly move the chains on you rather than a self-inflicted wound like that. That's the first penalty, I believe, on CG tonight, and it's a costly one, as it's going to give York Pavilion the first down into CG, to actually just shy of CG territory. They're at their own 49.
Especially on 3rd and 12.
That's a real backbreaker.
You see that all the time on Sundays, though. You know, when a team is backed up, they chuck the ball, and there's a PI.
And now we have a pre-snap penalty.
It looks like they're marching further backwards, are the Redskins.
Yep, I'm going to guess encroachment on that one. And now here is the handoff up the middle. That one will get back to the line of scrimmage. It looks like Nathan Button was in there to make the play. It'll be 2nd and 5.
This has been a very interesting series. So since 2004, it's 7-7 here at CG. 3-3 at York. Redskins are 4-3 on a neutral field, 0-1. 8 points or less. The Redskins are 2-1 in games decided by 8 points or less. 14 points or less. Redskins are 3-1. Four times there's been a shutout. Each team in the 14 games have been shut out twice.
Here's Kennedy going to keep it himself, and he is going to rumble ahead and pick up the first down. Kennedy, once again, doing it himself with that big body, just able to, on the quarterback power, just get up the field, and that's going to move the chains. It's going to be a first down, York Pavilion. That's their 6th of the night.
So in those 14 games, as I said, 4 of them been shutouts one way or the other. CG is averaging in these 14 games 18.3 points, while York is averaging 20.6. So equal, but more times than not, these games have been blowouts one way or the other.
And looks like here's Kennedy again, going to keep it himself up the middle. I'll make it 2nd down.
Only 3 of the 14 games have been decided by 8 points or less. So that goes to show you that that game last year, 12-7, is actually kind of rare in this matchup.
3:43 remaining in the second quarter. It is 8-0 in favor of the Redskins, but York Pavilion is deep into their territory. Knocking on the door of the red zone, and we have a Perry timeout here. 3:33 left in Q2, 8-0 CG on top.
Now, there's a long ways to go, but I did tally it up, and CG is the 11th highest scoring offense in Section 5 after week 1, although one of those touchdowns was defensive and they had a safety in there. So, but I don't know everybody who scores defensive touchdowns, so what I do is I just put the scores together, and that's where they're at. They're at about 11th right now, although Notre Dame Batavia has certainly helped themselves in the per game as they put up 64 last night against Perry. That's who York played last week. It was a 35-16 game in favor of Notre Dame Batavia.
Now it'll be about second down, and it looks like 6 or 7 as we rejoin the action. 3:33 left in the second quarter. Here's Kennedy in the gun, going to keep it himself once again. So James Kennedy doing it all, and he shakes off the initial tackle attempt and is going to pick up the York Pavilion first down. So far, they are outdoing CG in the first down department, 4-7, according to my official, unofficial stats. And it looks like now they are in the red zone. Last time they got there, unable to come up with any points. Now here's Kennedy going to try and keep it up the gut once again, and it takes multiple people to bring him down, but they get him there for a loss on the play. Hotailing was in there to clean it up. Jacob Hotailing.
Coach Keeley 4-2 against York Pavilion in his 6 seasons. He's 21-22 overall, trying to get the 500 here tonight. As we said in the Countdown to Kickoff pregame show, they've won 7 in a row here. 9 out of their last 10, and they're 10-2 since 2016 here at home.
And I believe in the last 2 years, Coach Keeley is a combined 13-5, counting their win last week. Second down and long on the play. Here's Kennedy. They're just going to give it off quickly, trying to get to the edge and cutting up the field down the left side is Caden Pete on the play.
Yeah, he inherited a 1-7 ball club in his first year, and so it's been a building process. He hasn't panicked. He hasn't gotten down. This has been a process, and I think they've built to where they want to be. They got to the semifinals, 13 seconds away from getting to the program's first ever sectional championship appearance, and they're trying to push that boulder back up the hill. York Pavilion, though, giving them all they can handle. It's 3rd and 3 on the 13, 2:16 to go on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard.
Here is Kennedy going to keep it himself right up the gut, diving forward, and he's going to be stopped about a yard short of the first down, so it'll be about 4th and 1, and they're in the red zone here. This might be field goal range, but we'll see what they just elect to do here. That moves them to 1 for 4 on the night in terms of third downs. As I mentioned, they made it into the red zone one time already in this game, unable to come up with anything.
Hunter, has is the wind calmed down at all down there, or is it still blowing a little bit on the field down there?
If anything, guys, the wind has picked up a little bit. As far as, like, you know, dew or anything like that goes, the field seems pretty sticky, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're on a slip and slide, but this wind is definitely having an effect on this game.
And this is a grass surface here at Canisteo-Greenwood. We were on beautiful turf last week. This is a grass team. It is a little bit different of experience. I'm not sure if York has turf at their home field. It used to be an advantage to have turf. Now it might be an advantage not to have turf, honestly.
And before the play was run, we had a Perry timeout. So with 1:43 winding down in the second quarter, as long as you got 3 timeouts, you might as well use them. So Perry going to talk everything out, make sure they have all their ducks in a row as they attempt a pretty big 4th down and 1.
Well, it seems to me this is just going to be a quarterback keeper. Quarterback wedge. I think if you got a quarterback like that, I think you just keep it.
You know, 6'2", 6'3", 235. He's going to get right up under center, and you called it. He is going to keep it, and bowling ahead. Now both teams.
It's almost like it's Ben Roethlisberger out there. I mean, he's a big boy, and you know, he got right behind his center.
And that one is going to be good. So Kennedy just bowling right up the middle, using that big body. He is going to pick up the first down.
Yeah, that's a tall task for that Redskins interior defensive line to try to stop him from getting a yard.
Now here is Kennedy in the shotgun, empty shotgun. He's going to take it and bowl right up the middle. Kennedy fighting ahead. And going to be marked short here. Nathan Button making the play. It'll be 2nd and goal, goal-to-goal situation now for York Pavilion, the Golden Knights. That 4th down play makes them now 1 for 2 on 4th downs. Here is Kennedy in the gun, being flanked to his left by a back. He's going to keep this one. Canisteo brings pressure off the edge. That pass is incomplete.
We will go to Hunter Lee here at the end of the first half. He will grab Coach Keeley for 2 quick questions on their way into the locker room. I would think maybe just asking him what adjustments offensively he would like to make. They have cracked through the scoreboard here, and then maybe what adjustments defensively. As now York Pavilion knocking on the door. 45 seconds to go on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard. 3rd and goal.
It's going to be trips left here. Kennedy rifles one to the end zone. Pass is caught for the touchdown. 5 yards right there to Joshua Davis for the score, and York Pavilion going to make it 6-8 with the extra point or 2-point conversion pending.
So a good drive there by York Pavilion, although they were certainly aided by a few defensive penalties there on that drive. 40 seconds to go. Redskins now up 8-6 in the first half. We'll see what York Pavilion does here. My guess is if they had 16 against Notre Dame Batavia, that they went for 2. That's just my guess, and that's how they got to 16, 8-8. And again, they probably were trailing in that game, so that's probably why they went for 2. So we'll see. My guess is they might go for 2 here to try to tie this up.
They got down big time in that game. Not even midway through the 2nd quarter, they were down 19-0, but after a few chunk plays and a couple touchdown drives, they cut it to 19-16 heading into the locker room, but then were shut out for the remainder of that game. So kind of doing a little bit of that here, and looks like they've already attempted to convert there. No good, so the score is going to remain 8-6 now. Here is the kickoff. It's going to be a line drive right down the middle, and it is finally picked up by Jacob Hotailing, going to try and make what he can out of that one. Nothing doing right there, so with 35 seconds left in this one, if I put myself in Coach Keeley's shoes, I don't see any particular reason to try and push the ball down the field here. Your opponent just scored. There's no reason to you know, do anything hasty and potentially make a mistake and let them get the ball in your territory. So I'd be content with running the ball or taking a knee and taking your lead into halftime.
Now, they did get the ball to start the game, correct? So they'll be kicking off in the 2nd half, I believe.
Here's Santiago. He's going to come out in the pistol. They're going to hand it off to Chase Weeks, trying to get some yardage up the middle. He'll pick up about 5 yards on the ground. Now it looks like they're going to hurry things up, so Canisteo maybe not content with where they're at right now, trying to the ball a little bit. Here's Santiago in the pistol. He's going to drop and throw. That one is caught by Updike, and Updike trying to get out of bounds there. And looks like he did get out of bounds, so the clock stops at 17 seconds. He tried to cut it back upfield away from the sidelines, but he was able to squirt out of bounds there at the 30-yard line. So with 17 seconds left, Canisteo-Greenwood trying to put together a last-ditch attempt to score. And now we have an officials timeout. There's some confusion with the game clock. Looks like it started prematurely running, so they reset it to 17. Here's Rocky Santiago coming out in the pistol. He's got 2 receivers to the left, 1 isolated right. He's going to drop throw, but that one is whistled dead. Looks like still having some confusion with the clock. Ball spotted at about the 45-yard line.
Coming up at halftime, we'll have your Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan halftime scoreboard report. We'll tell you about other games going on in the area tonight.
Santiago once again in the pistol. He's going to drop throw. That one is incomplete, a little too far out of the reach of Jacob Hotailing. So 14 seconds left. It'll be 2nd and 10.
We'll give you some scores from last night's boys and girls soccer action around Section 5. What to expect this weekend in football Saturday and soccer Saturday and in college football locally.
Santiago gonna throw. Now he's gonna step up and take off and now throw it. Pass is caught by Hotailing and he's gonna get away. Hotailing staying in bounds, staying on his feet. Hotailing fighting forward. He won't go down. Jacob Hotailing maybe down to the 1-yard line or so. Ooh, what a play that was. That's heart right there. That's just pure heart, refusing to go down. They had to nearly horse collar him just to get him on the ground, did York Pavilion, but Canisteo-Greenwood, with 1 second left, have the potential to possibly go up, you know, another touchdown here.
What a big play. I was concerned that the clock was going to run out. I actually initially thought, now with high school football, the clock does stop with a first down, so you do have that advantage. I was thinking maybe he should go out of bounds and save some clock, but boy, he didn't give up, and he almost scored on that play. That was all grit on his part. He had guys around him, and he broke several tackles. They're going to spot the ball at the 4-yard line. So it is 1st and goal with 1 second left to go, up 8-6. Now, maybe if you're college or NFL, you probably kick a field goal here. They haven't kicked an extra point, I don't think, all season. So I think they're going to go for this. I don't think there's going to be a field goal attempt. It'll be interesting. Do you throw this to the corner to Andrew Morling? Do you try to run this with Chase Weeks? It'll be interesting to see what Coach Paul Keeley dials up here.
They did attempt 1 extra point last week. It was Blake Updike, and it was blocked. So, looks like here's Santiago. They're going to spread him out here. Santiago could be a quarterback draw. Just keep it right up the middle. He's going to be the lone man in the backfield. Here's Santiago. He's going to drop, throw to the end zone, deflected and caught for the touchdown. Dale Hotailing comes up with the reception, so Canisteo-Greenwood, like clockwork, marches their way down the field and is able to get it in for the touchdown with 000 on the clock in the first half.
I mean, when did they get that? Well, how much time did they have left when they got that ball? Like 35 seconds or something like that? Yeah, we thought maybe they'd be a little conservative. It'll be interesting to see, you know, Coach Keeley's thoughts on how much momentum he thinks that score will be right here at the end of the half, going into halftime, as they'll try to tack on 2 more points here as they're now up 14-6.
And here's Santiago. He's going to roll left and throw to the end zone. The pass is caught. The 2-point conversion is good. That is Ryder Slayton with the 2-point conversion. He had one last week, so he tacks on another one this week, and that's got to feel good heading into halftime. You go to a 2-point lead to a 10-point lead. Great job by the Redskins closing out the first half.
Absolutely. So we'll wait for Hunter. Whenever he's ready to go, he can take this away with Coach Keeley.
Hey guys, I've got a couple questions here that I'm getting ready to ask Coach Keeley. I'm just making my way over to him. He's getting his headset put away right now.
As they are now up 16-6, and we are at halftime on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard.
All right, Coach Keeley, so far so good. How do you think that momentum is going to go pushing you into the next half?
We hope that carries over. That was a good job by our offense to lengthen the field in under 20 seconds. So we're hoping that we can feed off that energy, come out in the second half.
Awesome. How do you feel about any changes that you think you'll make on offense or defense? Are you feeling confident in what you got going? Or
So, you know, obviously we're going to have to make some minor adjustments to how we're defending right now a little bit. They're getting the edge on us pretty good. So we just have to, whether we change our front or really just, we got to toughen up a little bit and not let them hold the edge. Right now it's a battle for the edge right now. We just got to do a better job of holding our ground.
All right, thank you, Coach, and good luck on the second half. Yep. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Hunter. And there you go. It sounds like a pretty happy coach, and that'll happen when you can go down the field within 20 seconds and score right before halftime and give yourself a 10-point lead. So it is now a 2-possession game. So the Redskins have given themselves a little bit of breathing room here as they head to the locker room on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard. We'll take a break and we'll come back. We'll recap the scoring of the first half. Then we'll have the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan halftime scoreboard report and so much more and get you ready for the second half. You are listening and watching the Canisteo-Greenwood Redskins on the Redskins Radio Network.
Finding your new or used car from Maple City Dodge is easier than ever. Check out what's on their lot online at maplecitydodge.net. Their knowledgeable staff will answer your questions, help you find the right new car, and can assist you. So see your new and used Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram dealer online. See their showroom. Get pre-approval right online. At Maple City Dodge, they provide quality vehicles at a price you can afford. maplecitydodge.net. Maple City Dodge, Seneca Road North at Airport Road, Hornell.
Simmons Rockwell Hornell. Those who listen to games on their car radio are likely hearing it in a vehicle they got at Simmons Rockwell Hornell. You can see the Simmons Rockwell name on the license plates all over town, and you can see their huge line of new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot on Route 36. Simmons Rockwell's got what you want in Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, Cadillac, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, Nissan, Jeep, and Hyundai. Simmons Rockwell, Route 36, just down the road from Maple City Park.
Lions Will Music Shop on Main Street, Hornell brings music to your ears with new and used instruments, electric, bass, and acoustic guitars, violins, ukuleles. It's a full-service music shop with amplifiers, keyboards, power equipment, and instrument accessories. And now offering lessons for guitar, ukuleles, and voice. If you're having issues with an instrument, amp, setup, or electronics, call Lions Will or stop in to talk to them about repairs. Monday through Friday, 11 till 7, Saturdays, 11 until 6. Phone 607-590-7038.
The Sportsman.
Dealing with the loss of a loved one is always difficult. Let the H.B. Smith & Son Funeral Home help. They offer services to accommodate the needs of the families of our communities. Let H.B. Smith & Sons create the best funeral service or memorial service that your family desires. With 2 locations to better serve the community at 29 East Main Street, Canisteo, and 1607 Main Street, Woodhull. Give H.B. Smith & Sons a call at 607-698-4552.
Now, the halftime show on the Redskins Radio Network, brought to you by Simmons Rockwell, with a recap of the first half highlights and a look ahead to the second half. Let's go back out to the booth with Joel Orient.
And we are back here, halftime 16-6 in favor of the Canisteo-Greenwood Redskins over the York Pavilion Golden Knights. And let's go to Tanner Saunders to recap how we got to this score.
Well, it started out with a 39-yard touchdown reception to none other than Jacob Hotailing. Just caught a pass on the left flat from Rocky Santiago and was able to turn up the field, walk the tightrope down the left sideline, and got in for Canisteo's first score of the game midway through the second quarter. And that was followed by a successful 2-point conversion on a pitch to the right side to Chase Weeks. But that would not be without a rebuttal from York Pavilion as they marched down the field with the help of some penalties, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, they got into the red zone, and quarterback James Kennedy found wide receiver Joshua Davis for a 5-yard reception, and they were unable to convert on the PAT, so that made it 8-6 in favor of the Redskins. And then with under 30 seconds left in the first half, here we are thinking that CG's going to play conservative and wind the clock out and be content with their 8-6 lead heading into halftime. No, they march right down the field, and I wanted to say this earlier. We know Marshawn Lynch has Beastquake 1.0 and Beastquake 2.0. Jacob Hoteling invented Beastquake 3.0 on the final possession of that first half there, and he got them sitting pretty at the 4-yard line where Rocky Santiago was able to find Dale Hoteling. His pass was deflected, but still caught in the end zone by Dale Hoteling, so the Hoteling bros getting it done here. That was a 4-yard score, and that was followed up by a 2-point conversion to Ryder Slayton, and here we are at 16-6 here at halftime. CG sitting atop the scoreboard.
Let's take a break. We will come back. We will have the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan halftime scoreboard report for you. Okay, we'll fill you in on all the things going on in regards to other football tonight, boys and girls soccer last night and tonight, what's going on this weekend on the high school, college level, NFL, so much more. We'll fill you in with that in just a couple minutes. We're at halftime here from Canisteo as the Redskins lead the Golden Knights 16-6 on AM 1480, WLEA and WLEA.net.
The Sports Fanatic in Hornell. When you walk or drive by the Sports Fanatic on Main Street, Hornell, you see a window display that draws attention. The best of sports fans all stop into the Sports Fanatic. Come on in and pick up one of their well-known and popular local sports shirts. The Sports Fanatic, Main Street, 324-7398. 324-7398 for the Sports Fanatic.
Kindred at Home. If you or someone you know is 65 or older and struggling with everyday tasks in the home, Kindred at Home can help get you the skilled care you need to remain at home and aging in.
When your team takes the field or court, they know they can count on the support of their coaches, staff, and fans in the stands. When you need someone to watch your back in matters financial, count on the hometown team at Steuben Trust. At Steuben, our rural roots keep us in touch with the unique needs of our rural region we serve. We offer a full line of financial services managed by local decision makers. Stop by a branch near you to see all that we have to offer. Steuben Trust Company, member FDIC and equal housing lender. When your team takes the field...
Ken's Auto Collision in Canisteo is your complete collision repair, glass replacement, and repainting shop for foreign and domestic cars and trucks. You've come to expect prompt, courteous service and professional workmanship at Ken's because that's the way Ken's been doing it for over 30 years. Ken's modern equipment, quality materials, and skilled craftsmen guarantee your satisfaction every time you bring your vehicle to Ken's Auto Collision, corner of West Main and Orchard Streets in Canisteo.
Hi, CG cheerleading coach Brooke Remchuk. The Southern Tier's official pep rally radio station is AM 1480 WLEA and online at WLEA.net.
And that is the highlights from the first half. As a little slow start, Tanner, but really got revved up there at the end of the first half, the last minute or so.
Yes, and this game has flown right by, certainly quicker than last week's, but it's been exciting, and really excited to see what the second half has to offer. For Canisteo-Greenwood, I would assume they would try to stick to the run game, because they're going up against a team that's in York Pavilion. In their last game against Batavia Notre Dame, they let their leading rusher, Jed Reese, run 22 times for 208 yards and 2 touchdowns, and saw his backfield mate, Mark Sanders Jr., rush 3 times for 39 yards in a score. So they're reeling, to say the least, in the run game defensively. But after that showing there that you had that very last drive of the half, how can you not be inclined to try and throw the football, push the ball down the field? We saw the success they had there, so it's going to be interesting. Canisteo has a pretty wide open array of strategies that they can go to with the success that they've had in the first half. For Perry, we've seen them do a lot of running with quarterback James Kennedy. He's done a lot of keepers. They've tried to air it out with not too much success, so as Coach Keeley said, they were able to get to the edge with relative ease in the first half. So I would assume that they're going to try and continue to attack Canisteo-Greenwood there and see if they can hold their own on the edge. But I think we're in for a really exciting half of football, just as the first half was.
Absolutely. Let's do the Simmons Rock Ford Nissan halftime scoreboard report right now, shall we? The only game last night in Section 5 football, it was Notre Dame Batavia beating Perry 64-3. Let's look around the rest of Section 5 tonight and see who is playing in Section 5 football. Waco at Avon, Leroy at ERG, Cuba Rushford at Lions, Attica at Haverling, Newark at Mid-Lakes, Livonia at Batavia, Dansville at Waterloo, Palmac at Wayne, Kelmon Byron Burgeon at Wellsville, Alexander at Cuba Rushford, Geneseo Mount Morris at Clyde Savannah. Games tomorrow: Rush Henrietta at Aquinas, Greece Arcadia at Greece Athena, Churchville Chilai at Greece Odyssey Olympia, Fairport at James Monroe. Those games all kick off tomorrow at 1. Wilson Magnet at Bishop Kearney, HFL at UPrep. Those two kick off at 2. Pittsford at McQuaid tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Boys soccer action last night: Penn Yan 4-1 over Waterloo, Haverling 8-2 over Letchworth Warsaw, Keshequa shuts out Perry 3-0, Geneseo 2-1 over Calmum. Soccer action tonight: York Pavilion at Mount Morris, Fillmore at Belfast, Wellsville at Andover, JT at Avoca, Campbell Savona is at Canisteo-Greenwood right now, Geneva at Casanova. Boys soccer tomorrow: Alfred Allman at Haverling at 11:30, Sayo at Avoca at 1, Bradford at Arkport Canasteraga at 1, Naples at JT at 3:30. It is Hammondsport at Prattsburg tomorrow at 4, and Keshequa at Avon at 6. Girls soccer action last night: Letchworth 9-1 over Dansville. Arkport shut out Lima 12-0. Avoca 3-2 over the Canisteo-Greenwood Lady Redskins, who are now 2-3 on the season. Addison 2-1 over Alfred Allman. Campbell Savona 5-1 over JT. Geneseo 2-1 over Livonia, and Batavia 3-1 over York. Girls action tonight: Haverling at Mid-Lakes, Hornell at Leroy, Avoca at CG Finney, Penn at Geneva, Dundee at Marcus Whitman. Girls action tomorrow on the pitch in soccer: it's Palmac at Dansville at 11, York at Livonia at 1, Hammondsport Bradford at Prattsburg at 2, Avon at Perry at 6:30. College football: Waco grads Izzy McClure, Connor Englert, and the other 21 former Section 5 football players on the 1-0 Alfred University Saxons football team host the 0-1 George Fox University Bruins. Kickoff at 1 p.m. You can hear that game on our sister station, Fun 92.1, and online at fun921.com. The Buffalo Bulls, who are 1-1 on the season, travel to Liberty tomorrow to take on the Flames, who are 0-2. Kickoff at 6 p.m. The 1-1 SU Orange hosts the #1 team in the nation, the Clemson Tigers, and if they stay within 50 points, I will be ecstatic. Kickoff tomorrow night at 7:30. You can hear that game right here on AM 1480 WLEA. CG grad Curtis Quick, Hornell grad Dylan Greenthal, and 5 other former Section 5 football players on the Alfred State College Pioneers will be in action tomorrow as they host the 0-1 Hartwick Hawks. The Pioneers looking for their first win of the year. Kickoff tomorrow at 5 p.m. In the NFL last night, Jameis Winston and the Bucs beat Carolina 20-14. The Buffalo Bills will travel back down to the Meadowlands on Sunday after beating the Jets there last week, scoring 17 unanswered. They'll take on the New York Jets. Kickoff Sunday at 1 p.m. Sunday night football. The 1-0 Philadelphia Eagles are at the 0-1 Atlanta Falcons. Coverage starts at 7:30 right here on AM 1480 WLEA. Monday night football, the 0-1 New York Jets at the 0-1 Cleveland Browns. Coverage starts at 7:45 on AM 1480 WLEA right here. So that is your Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan halftime scoreboard report. You are now completely caught up, and we are getting set for second half action as we get everybody back in place here as Tanner Saunders is ready. We've got Tanner Lee down on the sidelines, and the Redskins trying to win their 8th in a row here at home and go 11-13 since the start of 2016 here at home.
Get the ball to start things out in the second half. They get a nice little return. It looked like the ball bounced down inside the 5, but they were able to scoop it up and advance the ball quite a ways. Looks like they're going to start out, have exact field position yet. Looks like it's going to be at about the 25, it appears. So that is where York Pavilion will take over for their opening drive of the second half.
Tanner, do you have any? I know you were kind of keeping some stats there, third down stats, first downs there in the first half. Anything jump out at you in regards to team statistics?
No, everything seems rather even here. Is on first down. Get a nice little gain there. Does York Pavilion. It'll be second and short. It was Ethan Doran on the carry. He saw a fair amount of work in the first half as well.
So big score there at the end of the half because it makes it a 2-possession game, gives you a little bit of comfort, and maybe, you know, I think if you can pull ahead, you want to try to make York Pavilion more one-dimensional and make it so that, you know, that quarterback, Kennedy, can't run so much.
That was their preferred course of action there in the first half, it seemed like, was get James Kennedy the football and let him run it. But you'd like to get them, you know, down on the scoreboard and see them try and air it out a little bit where they didn't have as much success. And now that I think about it, the one thing that does jump out is York Pavilion is actually outdoing CG in the first down department, 8-5 at this juncture, and Kennedy nearly picked up another one there on first down. Looks like he's going to be marked just short, and it'll be about 2nd and 2 upcoming from the CG 44-yard line. So just like that, they're already in enemy territory.
Well, and sometimes, you know, the first down stats can show you, or third down stats can show you maybe a team is more methodical and have long drives. But the Redskins have had splash plays, especially on that last drive, explosive big plays.
Here's Kennedy handing it off up the middle, and it looks like that's going to move the chains. So make it 5-9, the first down disparity in favor of York Pavilion. They've been able to move the ball down the field. It's just in the, you know, the money area, the red zone, where they've come up short.
And it's funny, it's called the red zone. Tom Coughlin, who's native of Waterloo, New York, won 2 Super Bowl championships with the New York Giants. He called it the green zone because, as you just said, Tanner, that's where you make your money. When you get inside the 20, you got to score.
Absolutely, and that has been the struggle for them. Now a pre-snap penalty on the play. False start on York Pavilion. So they're going to have a little extra yardage to gain on this sequence, 1st and 15.
Good crowd here tonight at Canisteo-Greenwood. Bleachers filled up. Busy night. Boys soccer game going on at the same time here at the Canisteo Sports Complex.
York Pavilion faced with a long 1st down and 15. Here is Kennedy in the gun. And again, they're going to run that quarterback power, try and get him on the edge. He's going to pick up some of the penalty yardage back. It'll be about 2nd and 12. So despite being down 10, they're in no urgency, and they're not deviating from their game plan, it seems like, of giving James Kennedy the football, which you got to I mean, it makes sense, you know, after, you know, you find yourselves down and facing a little adversity, you don't want to just deviate from your game plan right away. You want to see if you can get things to work out, and that's been a pretty successful play for them, just rushing Kennedy, so they stick with it. Now they're going to hand it off to Ethan Doran. He's going to pick up a nice chunk. He got the rest of the penalty yardage back, and then some. It'll be about 3rd and mid on this next play.
Number 22, Doran back there, tackled by Slayton.
Ryder Slayton makes the play.
Gain of 7 on the play, 3rd and 5.
Ryder, he was the one that caught the 2-point conversion at the end of the half, correct?
Yes, and he also caught a 2-point conversion last week, so Ryder Slayton, got to keep an eye out for him in that area because he has been money this season on the conversions. 3rd down and about 5 from the Canisteo-Greenwood 40. Here's Kennedy in the pistol. He's going to hand it off. Juking and jiving in the backfield. Looks like Ethan Doran, and he's going to be tackled at just about the marker. Ryder Slayton makes the play again. Tackled just short. It'll be 4th down.
It's funny because, you know, as I said, in this 14-game series dating back to 2004, you know, Canisteo-Greenwood averages 18 points per game. York averages 20 points per game. But then on the flip side, CG averages winning by 18 points. York averages winning by 17 because there's been a lot of 44-0 and, you know, 34-7 games. So while they average out to be even, there's been some blowouts here. But tonight looks like it could be close.
On 4th down, Kennedy is going to pick up the 1st down. Once you know it, just keeping it out of the shotgun, running right up the gut. And James Kennedy has a 1st down. That moves York Pavilion to 2 for 3 on 4th downs. They haven't been great on 3rd down, 1 of 5 thus far.
1st down for the Reds, ball at the 25-yard line.
The ball at the 25-yard line, and York Pavilion knocking on the door of the red zone.
Well, boy, you know, they're going to be tough. Kennedy's going to be tough to stop on 3rd or 4th and short.
I mean, there's not much he can do. It takes multiple people to tackle him, you know, with his body and his size. Here's Kennedy going to drop back, float one up to the end zone for Doran. It's intercepted. Jacob Hotailing comes down with it, just tried to get the ball to Ethan Doran, floated up. He had a step, but the ball just kind of fluttered there at the end, right into the awaiting arms of Dale Hotailing. So that drive going to come to an end for York Pavilion, and Canisteo-Greenwood's going to get it pinned deep in their own territory at about their own 3-yard line.
So they now each have a turnover. Each has thrown a interception here tonight.
And we saw Canisteo-Greenwood get into trouble here in this exact situation in the last game. They took a safety in a situation very similar to this, so we will see if they've learned anything from last week, how they try to attack this one. Looks like they're going to hand it off, and getting to the edge is Jacob Hotailing, and he's going to give them some breathing room. So the crisis averted there as they're able to advance the ball, looks like at least up past the 5 or 10 yard line. Joshua Davis makes the play for York Pavilion, and that's actually going to be a Redskin 1st down. They're going to spot the ball at the 15. Jacob Hotailing continues a stellar night there on that carry. Got 7:19 left in the 3rd quarter. Redskins sitting pretty after a turnover, up 16-6 at the moment. Here's Rocky Santiago in the shotgun, being flanked to his right by Chase Weeks. Now Santiago takes the snap. He's going to roll right on the play action. He's going to throw that one to the sidelines. The pass is caught by Hotailing, but for a minimal gain, if anything. Maybe picked up about 2 yards there to make it 2nd and 8.
Last week, 45 carries for 258 yards. That's good for 5.7 yards per carry and 3 rushing touchdowns. So that's good when you can average 5.7 a pop. I don't think they've averaged that here tonight. They have had a couple big runs that have helped the average, but mostly they've been 1, 2, 3 yard runs here.
Now here's Rocky Santiago, empty shotgun. Now they're going to motion Hotailing, and they're going to give it to him. He is maneuvering there, trying to find some room on the left sideline, but he is chopped down to bring up a 3rd down.
So that was the that form of a jet sweep as they have Hotailing coming in motion from left to right on the formation at the snap, and Santiago hands it off to him. He's a good athlete, so Coach Keeley wants to try to give him as many touches and in different ways as possible rather than just lining up in the standard eye or in the pistol there. This time you get him with a head start coming across the formation.
And he's going to be on the sidelines for this 3rd down. Is Hotailing. Here's Santiago in the shotgun, flanked once again by Weeks. He's going to drop back, throw to the sidelines. The pass is caught by Blake Updike, and now Updike looks like he's going to have the 1st down. That's the benefit of having a 6'4" tight end, is he can just go up and get it over smaller defenders. That's exactly what he did there. Great ball placement by Rocky Santiago, allowing his big man to go up and get it, and then Updike turns up the field and has a CG 1st down.
And you know, there's some, you know, high school teams that are very one-dimensional. They only throw when they absolutely have to, which is not really beneficial because then when, you know, the defense knows you have to throw, they can play the throw. Coach Keeley has all the confidence in the world in his junior quarterback, Rocky Santiago.
Here's Santiago going to hand it off on a motion from right to left there to Dale Hotailing. That one didn't work out quite how they would want it to, as he's going to be brought down for a big loss in the backfield.
That was a jailbreak into the backfield. Dale didn't have any place to go there that time when he got the ball.
And now Jacob is going to come back into the game here. It's going to be about 2nd and 15. That play was just shut down right from the start. Credit to that York Pavilion defense.
Under 5.5 to go. It is 2nd and 16 after that loss.
Now Jacob Hotailing is in the empty shotgun with Rocky Santiago in the slot. Here's Hotailing going to keep it himself right up the middle, and he's got some room. He picks up the lost yardage and then some up past the 40-yard line, maybe to about the 42-yard line. So that'll give him a much more manageable 3rd down.
Yeah, that, you know, and they like to use him just like that youngster in New Orleans.
Taysom Hill,
yes,
is their gadget player. You know, you see Taysom Hill playing quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end. He caught a touchdown from Drew Brees in week 1, and Jacob Hotailing is assuming that role here for Canisteo-Greenwood.
More times than not, when he's going to line up there, he's going to run because he's a good runner.
And that was actually a 1st down on the play for CG. Now they're going to pitch it to Chase Weeks, running to the left side, and once again, going to take a big loss there. That play blown up in the backfield. CG now they're 3 for 5 on 3rd down, but they do have 8 first downs.
You know, I'm surprised that, you know, I did not ask Coach Keeley what their times were in the 40s, but they, you know, they have had a couple breakaways. You know, Hotailing had that long run, but they're having trouble getting to the outside for the most part and using their speed.
Here's Rocky Santiago, empty shotgun. He will take the snap, and now he's going to dart up the middle on a quarterback keeper. Doing a little pulling the James Kennedy play out of his playbook is Santiago, and he will pick up some of the lost yardage back. It's still going to be, looks like it's going to be 3rd and 10.
You know, Hotailing had the touchdown run down the sidelines, the scamper. He used his speed. Andrew with the one, or, you know, the Hotailing that got down to the 4. So they have been able to use their speed in a couple situations, but they've had a hard time running the football and getting wide and getting out to the outside, on the outside of the hashes here.
And a lot of that is they really haven't had to with the effectiveness of their passing game. They've been able to get some splash plays. Now they're going to come out in the I form on 3rd down and 10. 2 receivers split out wide. Here's Rocky Santiago. Play action, bootleg to his right. Going to dump it off on the flats to Hotailing. And he is going to be chopped down there short of the line to gain. It'll be 4th down and manageable, so we'll see what they elect to do here. I would think that in 4th and less than 5, this would be a situation where you keep the offense on the field, but looks like actually they're going to send out the punting unit, and on second thought, that is probably the best decision because you don't want to give them the ball in your territory. They are at their own 48.
and they have been able to move the ball, but they haven't really been able to move the ball the length of the field. So if you can pin them inside the 20 or inside the 10.
And Morling muffs the snap. He's going to have to keep it himself, and he's going to get to the outside, and Andrew Morling's going to pick up the first down. How about that? Not how they drew it up, but it ended up working out in their favor as Morling, the snap was at his feet, and he kind of had to improvise there, and the improvisation worked in his favor as CG has the first down on a busted play.
Well, that's one way to convert a 4th down.
Not how they drew it up, but sometimes a little bit of luck pays off too in football.
And this has been a long and time-consuming drive. We're now under 2:45 to go, 3rd quarter on the Simmons-Rockwell scoreboard. They got this ball basically on their goal line, and they are now on York Pavilion's 42-yard line.
Well, here's Rocky Santiago coming in the pistol. He's going to hand it off right up the middle to Chase Weeks, and he is driven back, pile-driven into the ground, and that was the quarterback who threw him down. That was James Kennedy in the play, making the play in the backfield. When you have a quarterback that can do that, that's just, there's not much I can say about that. That's just impressive. He just shot through the line like it was nothing and drove Chase Weeks right back. That's going to be a loss of about 4 on the play.
And I'm not sure whose man that is on the offensive line, but you know, you can't get on him too much. I don't know if I could block him very well out there. He is a good athlete on both sides of the ball.
Here's Santiago in the I formation. On 2nd down, they're going to pitch it to Weeks, trying to cut up the middle, and he is brought down after maybe about a gain of 1 on the play. So trying to scoop up some of the lost yardage back, unable to do so. We'll have a 3rd and long upcoming.
And, you know, in the last series of downs after a bad running play, they were 2nd and 16 and were able to dig out of it. So,
and we have seen them, again, with those chunk plays in the passing game. They've had some success. We'll see if they can draw up another one here. And who knows, maybe they get a muff punt on a 4th down and convert again.
I mean, Kennedy essentially is playing nose guard or nose tackle on defense. You don't see that much out of a quarterback.
Yep, and here's Rocky Santiago. Play action. He's going to throw it. Hotailing's got the catch, and Hotailing, we're going to have to check the spot on this one. Andrew Morling seems to think it was a 1st down, but I'm not sure. They just switched the down marker to 4th down, and yes, it appears it'll be 4th and about 4. Now, this might be a situation where you're inclined to go for it since you're in enemy territory, kind of stuck in no man's land again. Way too far to kick a field goal, but kind of too close to punt, and they are going to keep the offense on the field for the moment.
It's 4th and 3 on YP's 46, 1:16 to go, 3rd quarter. Redskins up 16-6.
Rocky Santiago, empty shotgun once again. They're going to spread him out here. The high snap, he corrals it. He's going to fire. Over the middle, that one is caught. No, it is incomplete. Slipped through the hands of Andrew Morling. So he had some magic in him on the last 4th down, but Morling unable to convert there. So York Pavilion will get it back on a turnover on downs. CG moves to 1 and 3 on the night on 3rd downs, or 4th, excuse me.
But the sunny side of things is they flipped the field position again and dug themselves out of a deep hole, and now they're going to make York Pavilion have to go a long way.
And they chewed up a lot of clock. Here is the run on 1st down. That was Evan Green on the carry, but he was thrown down there for a loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down upcoming.
Nate Button says, I can do that too.
Anything you can do, I can do better, and Button does it right there.
Maybe a little frustration because Nate is on the offensive line, so, you know, he's going both ways. There are several CG players, 5, 6, 7 players, depending on the sets of guys that are going both ways, which is good because that means you've got some great athletes, but, you know, those guys can get tired, especially guys going on the offense and defensive line. You try to get those guys as much as possible to go one way.
Now here is Kennedy in the gun. They're going to whistle that play dead for a pre-snap penalty before it even gets going. It's going to be delay of game on York Pavilion, so they're going to move back 5 yards there. And speaking of Nathan Button, if we you know, did offensive and defensive players of the game, I think Nathan Button would have been in consideration last week. He had 5 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 sacks for a total of 12 yards lost and 1 safety. So Nathan Button really balled out last week. And now here's Kennedy. They're going to do that quarterback power, running to the right side, and Kennedy is corralled and dropped at about the line of scrimmage, and a flag flies.
And, you know, it's not always about how many yards, especially when you've got a running back or a quarterback like that. It's about, in the fourth quarter, some of these young men on the defense for the Redskins, they're going to get a little tired of having to hit him, and they're going to maybe have to start thinking and have second thoughts about, man, am I going to want to go in there and put my head down again and have to tackle Kennedy? Because that could wear on you as a defense and a defensive player.
Yeah, when you've got a bowling ball bearing down on you, you know, he can impose his will, and, you know, the defense gets to that point where, you know, hands on their knees, they're getting tired when facing a player like that. That last play was an illegal block on the back penalty, and just like that, the third quarter has wound down. Time flies when you're having fun, and having fun we are. As we're heading into the fourth quarter, Canisteo holds a 16-6 lead over the York Pavilion Golden Knights.
And we'll be back with more as the Redskins lead on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard.
Coming to you thanks to great sponsors like Wegmans in the Hornell Plaza. It's a grocery store, it's a bakery, it's a deli, it's a pharmacy, and everything else you can name. Known for their pizza and subs while you get your groceries or pick up a prescription. Wegmans in the Hornell Plaza. They've got Wi-Fi internet access right inside the store and all kinds of great services at the counter. Money orders, MoneyGram, Coinstar, and Redbox movie rentals. Wegmans in the Hornell Plaza on Route 36.
AirVent Aluminum and Vinyl in Arkport. AirVent Aluminum and Vinyl can provide you with complete home improvement contracting work. Need siding, work on awnings, windows, doors, decks, or seamless gutters? AirVent Aluminum and Vinyl specializes in both interior and exterior remodeling. Go online and check out the photos of AirVent's work. That's on their website, airventalum.com. That's airventalum.com. Or Google search them using the keywords AirVent in Arkport. AirVent Aluminum and Vinyl, Arkport.
This is Chase Weeks. Thanks for running with the Redskins on your home for CG Football, the Redskins Radio Network.
And we are back, and we are getting set to start the fourth quarter with the Redskins leading on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard, 16-6.
And York Pavilion is just going to play conservative on second down there. They're going to try and pitch it out to Caden Pete, but he is unable to find any breathing room, so they're going to have a third down and really long here on this one. It's nearly third down and 20. They're on their own 25-yard line. They got a long ways to go. Kennedy's going to have to put the ball in the air here, and Canisteo pressing up on the receivers. Here's Kennedy. He's going to wind up and target Andrew Moreland going deep. That pass is incomplete. It was over the left shoulder of the intended target. Riley Stella there couldn't come down with it.
And I think that's where you want to put York Pavilion in a passing situation. I think that puts them at a disadvantage and you at an advantage from a defensive point of view. They have completed a couple passes, but I think they want to run the football if they had their druthers from a Golden Knights perspective.
They are now 1 for 6 on third downs. Here's Riley Stella going to boot this one away. It's a low line drive, and it's going to bounce down, and looks like a fight for the ball as it touched a Canisteo-Greenwood player. It looks like they will maintain possession there. So with 11:08 left in the fourth, Canisteo-Greenwood will take over, and at this point, you know, you probably start thinking about trying to pound the rock and run the clock down. The clock's already been moving relatively quickly in this one, but if you can start to establish a run game and kind of impose your will and just milk the clock slowly, I think that's what you do in this situation.
I don't know if it was so much scoring last week. Last week seemed to go very slow. This week seems to be flying by. Maybe a little more running in this game because of Kennedy running so much. Both teams threw a little bit more last week, which, again, incompletion stopped the clocks, and so does first downs.
Here's Rocky Santiago in the pistol. They're going to pitch it to Chase Weeks, and nowhere to go. on that one. He is brought down for a loss. Riley Stella makes the play in the backfield. That's going to be about a 4 or 5 yard loss on the play. So York Pavilion doing a good job of setting the edge. And now, here's something you don't like to see. Chase Weeks being helped off the field, favoring his ankle. I can't tell if it's the one they have taped up, but he is going to walk gingerly with the help of his teammates over to the bench. That is not something you like to see. Your Canisteo-Greenwood, obviously, your bell cow running back going down, and they're going to take a look at that ankle on the bench.
Got a couple score updates. Avoca beats JT in boys soccer 2-0. And right now, another football action, 27-0. Attica over Haverling in the second quarter.
So now Hotailing going to take the carry up the middle, picks up 1 or 2 yards on the ground. That'll make it third down and about 12. Now Ryder Slayton and Jonathan Cox are going to check in for this third down. Dale Hotailing in there as well. And of course the main man, Rocky Santiago, at the helm. On third down, they're just going to come out in the I form here. And Santiago going to keep it. Oh, actually, he's going to give it up to Jacob Hotailing. Looks like he got it on some kind of gadget reverse play, and he's going to lower his shoulder and try to pick up whatever yardage he can. He's going to be well short of the first down, but we have penalty markers down. So the refs will get together and chat about this one. For the moment, it's going to be 4th and long for CG. And for the moment, it looks like Canisteo-Greenwood will be assessed with the penalty. Looks like a face mask on CG, so someone got a little too much face mask, and that's going to move them way back here. Now I think the chatters about whether they're going to accept or decline the penalty. I would think you'd decline this, but still some confusion down in the field. Now York Pavilion going to do some substitutions here. Canisteo has walked back the 15 yards, but they're still trying to figure out where to spot the ball. And the penalty is going to be declined, so a 4th and long upcoming. And I see Andrew Morling out in the field, so it looks like they are going to punt this ball away. Which, you know, it's not a bad call at this stage in the game. 4th down in your own territory. You want to make them drive the length of the field, which they've struggled to do thus far. Here's Andrew Morling. This time a high snap. He has to reel it in, and he's going to boot this one deep. And it's going to take a CG bounce, and it is going to be down inside the 5-yard line, it looks like. So Andrew Morling with a nice punt. It's going to take a Canisteo-Greenwood bounce, and York Pavilion is going to have to drive pretty much the whole length of the field if they want to cut this lead down that CG is holding.
9:45 to go on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard, up 16-6. That's what the score was at a halftime, so no scoring here so far in the second half. Again, it's kind of gone back to a defensive struggle and a battle of field position, and the Redskins did a great job of putting a drive together, basically going from their own 1 or 2 to York Pavilion's 42 to dig themselves out.
York Pavilion going to come out in the gun on their own 4-yard line on first down. It's going to be a QB keeper to Kennedy. Austin Daly making the play. And it'll be, looks like he picks up about 2 yards, so 2nd and 8 upcoming for YP. Ball now on the 10-yard line. Here is Kennedy coming out once again in the gun, and he is going to hand it off up the middle, and keeping his feet moving is the running back. What an impressive display of running there by Caden Pete. And that one will move the sticks for York Pavilion. That's a first down.
Next Friday night, the Redskins will be back on the road at Cuba Rushford to take on the Rebels. Rebels went 2-7 last year, lost to Bolivar Richburg in the Class D pool play finals 20-0. Redskins won here at home last year over CR 26-3. We'll be on the air 7 p.m. next Friday night with the Countdown to Kickoff pregame show.
Kennedy going to air it out on first down. Not much to be had there on the play. That was Joshua Davis coming up with the reception, and he is corralled quickly there. He did pick up a nice little chunk. He picked up about 7 yards on the play, so it's like 2nd and 3. 8:14 left in the fourth quarter as the clock continues to wind down. They're going to hand it off up the middle, and making a nice cut there is Ethan Doran, and he is going to pick up a first down. Jacob Hotailing making the tackle, so that's the 11th first down of the night for York Pavilion on a nice run by Ethan Doran.
Next time the Redskins will be home is on September 27th. They'll host Bolivar Richburg here.
Now here is Kennedy, and he is blitzed right away and dropped, but a flag is thrown immediately. That was Ryder Slayton coming in, applying the pressure, and they eventually dropped the big man, but as I said, a flag is down. Looks like it's going to be on the offense, an illegal block below the knees, or a chop block, as it's called by some. So as if the sack wasn't enough, it looks like they will take the penalty. Actually, I think it's going to be declined by CG. Actually, looks like it'll be accepted. First down and 20. Upcoming for York Pavilion. Ryder Slayton had the sack. He had 1 sack last week. Resulted in an 8-yard loss. Now, actually, they did decline it after all. So a little confusion there, but it's going to be 2nd and long. Here's Ethan Doran trying to gain some of the penalty yardage back. Not really to get much there. So it's going to be 3rd down and about 18, I'd say, for York Pavilion. We saw him try to air it out last time and didn't really work out. I'd expect to see that again because there's not much he can do in this situation. Maybe you look at Riley Stella, the 6'4" tight end. That's who they tried to throw it to last time. And he is going to be lined up out wide once again. And here is Kennedy. He's going to rifle this one over the middle. It's tipped and intercepted. Hotailing comes down with it. And Canisteo-Greenwood with yet another turnover. That's turnover number 2. That's Hotailing's 3rd pick of the year already. He had 3 all of last year. He's got 3 in the first 2 games of this young season.
And I talked to Coach Keeley in the coach's corner, if you missed it. You know, Jacob started the 2nd game at quarterback last year as a sophomore. They brought Rocky up as a junior. He was a junior last year. And they brought Rocky up to be the starting quarterback. He moved to a defensive back. He didn't put his head down, didn't pout that he got taken out from quarterback. He had 27 tackles, 3 interceptions, 2 sacks last year, and he's just been phenomenal on both sides of the ball. They've moved him to the middle linebacker position, and he leads the team. He's like a Luke Kuechly back there. He can, intercept the ball. He can tackle.
That was just right place, right time as the ball got tipped up and it fell into the arms of Hotailing, waiting in the wings. Andrew Morling down on the sideline getting his, looks like his right calf worked on, so we'll keep an eye on that. The last Canisteo-Greenwood play on a first down lost about 1, so it'll be 2nd and 11. York Pavilion now moving to 1-7 on 3rd down, so the CG defense has really tightened up when they've needed to in this one. Here's Rocky Santiago, the full house formation. They're going to pitch it to Dale Hotailing on the right side. He's going to fight ahead and pick up a nice chunk. Looks like about 6 or 7, so we'll have it 3rd down. Actually, looks like a little shorter than that. It'll be about 3rd and 8 upcoming. About a 4-yard gain on the play.
An instant score tweet update. Kelmum Byron Burgeon all over Wellsville right now, 47-18 in the 2nd half.
Meanwhile, we've got 5.5 minutes left in this one. CG in York Pavilion territory. They are going to air it out on third down. Looks like Rocky Santiago, the lone man in the backfield. He's going to keep himself up the middle on a quarterback draw, and he is brought down relatively quickly there, so it'll be fourth down upcoming. CG moves to 3 and 9 on third downs. Not much to be had on that play in terms of yardage. Be about 4th and 9, and they're going to send out Andrew Morling to punt. This has been a field position game for a lot of the second half. Here's Morling going to try and pooch it, and that one's going to take a nice bounce, and now it looks like the ball was touched by a CG player and advanced by York Pavilion, so what could have been a punt down inside the 5, they end up getting a return there in some pretty favorable field position. Well, more favorable than it would have been inside the 5-yard line, so they have a little breathing room, but they really need to start moving with a sense of urgency here. 4:38 left in the 4th, down by 10 points. CG already forced 2 turnovers in this one. Expect them to be looking for another one here, just trying to get out of here and call this thing a W. Here's Kennedy going to air it out on first down. He finds Stella, who got behind the defense. Riley Stella, the big man, into CG territory. He stiff arms Updike, still going, and now he loses the ball. A fight for it. It looks like Dale Hotailing's going to scoop it up. And it is Canisteo-Greenwood football, so Riley Stella coming up with a major play. Just a huge gain, all for naught, as he's going to fumble it as he gets down deep into Canisteo-Greenwood territory. And just like that, that is turnover number 3 for Canisteo-Greenwood that they recover. Commentator's curse on that one.
Well, and, you know, he was trying to do everything he could. His team's down 16-6, starting to get late in the 4th quarter, and sometimes you see that happen when they're fighting for every extra yard. Sometimes, you know, you cough that ball up.
Well, here comes Canisteo-Greenwood. Deep in their own territory. Rocky Santiago going to come out in the I form, and they're going to hand it off on first down to Dale Hotailing. And he will pick up maybe 1 yard on the play, and now here comes Jacob into the game.
Less than 4 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Batavia leads Livonia 19-0. Batavia has had Livonia's number over the last couple years in sectionals. Leroy has beaten ERG tonight in their ball game, 32-7 in another final. We're getting close here as time's running out on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard. 3:40 to go, 4th quarter.
Under center once again, Rocky Santiago going to hand it off, and now it's like we have a timeout.
Timeout on the field, taken by York Pavilion.
YP takes the timeout, maybe trying to get the ball back with as much time as possible, so they're going to have to start spending their timeouts. 3:38 left in quarter number 4. CG find themselves up 16-6, trying to seal up this victory.
We'll take a timeout with them and be back. You're listening to Redskins football on AM 1480 WLEA.
Listen to games on their car radio are likely hearing it in a vehicle they got at Simmons Rockwell Hornell. You can see the Simmons Rockwell name on the license plates all over town, and you can see their huge line of new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot on Route 36. Simmons Rockwell's got what you want in Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, Cadillac, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, Nissan, Jeep, and Hyundai. Simmons Rockwell, Route 36, just down the road from Maple City Park.
The Ryan Agency supports local students and athletes. They appreciate dedication, teamwork, and hometown pride. That's why they give back, sponsoring many youth academic and sports activities. Contact the Ryan Agencies today, your hometown supporter and source for all things insurance.
Insurance protection you can rely on. The Ryan Agency.
This is Jacob Hotailing, and there is a blitz in the forecast on the Redskins radio network.
And we are back here, under 4 minutes to go on the Simmons Rockwell Ford Nissan scoreboard. Redskins leading 16-6. Have the ball, trying to salt this one away.
And they just pitched it out there to Jacob Hoteling, tried to get him out on the edge on the right side, and he looks like he went out of bounds, so they're going to stop the clock there. Not a huge fan of that call. I would have tried to dial up something up the middle just to keep the clock running and force Perry to use a timeout. But anyways, it's going to be 4th and very long, and they're going to have to be careful here punting because they are practically in their own end zone. CG moves to 3 and 10 on 3rd down with that play. Now it looks like Perry, or excuse me, still thinking about last week. York Pavilion, the 2 P teams, it's easy to get confused, but nevertheless, here we go. Andrew Morling is backed up deep in his own end zone for this punt, so they got to be careful here. Just make sure you get this one off, really, because this could be disastrous. But Morling able to control it. Now boots this one deep, gets a good one away. It's going to drive the returner back, and that one goes out of bounds at York Pavilion's own 35-yard line around that area. So they're going to have to put together a nice little 65-yard drive here if they want to score. Find themselves down 10. .319 left. They still have, I believe, 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, but still, you gotta get some chunk plays here and try and move the ball quickly.
Timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout with them and be back. This is Redskins football on AM 1480 WLEA.
Good news, J&J Barbecue and Sausage Company at 15 Main Street in Canisteo is now delivering. J&J Barbecue and Sausage Company, 15 Main Street, Canisteo. They have dozens of positive Facebook reviews. If it's 5 p.m. or after, Thursday through Sunday, call J&J Barbecue and Sausage Company in Canisteo at 698-5057. 698-5057 for J&J Barbecue. Again, J&J Barbecue and Sausage Company, Thursdays through Sundays. After 5 p.m., call 698-5057.
B&B Repair in Canisteo. If you use any kind of outdoor power equipment, chainsaws, brush hogs, snow blowers, B&B Repair tunes them up. B&B Repair is your authorized dealer for DR power equipment, AMF, Briggs & Stratton, Toro, MTD, Tecumseh, Murray, Kohler, Lawn Boy, LCE, contractor equipment, Mattis Tillers, and Echo Power Equipment. B&B Repair, 2nd Street in Canisteo. B&B supports local sports.
Now back to the Redskins Radio Network.
We are back here at the reservation. Redskins trying to go to 11-13 in their last 13 home games. They are 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 7 in a row here at home. And boy, that touchdown at the end of the first half, Tanner, is really looming large because it's really changing the complexion of this game.
Absolutely. Now here is Kennedy in the gun. He's just going to take a quick drop and fire. That one is caught, and the tackle is made by Rocky Santiago there. York Pavilion faced with a 3rd down and short here. Kennedy going to keep it on Old Faithful, the QB power. He gets to the edge. Kennedy rumbling ahead, brought down by Andrew Morling, but not before he picks up a York Pavilion 1st down.
Time's going to become of the essence here for York Pavilion as they need 2 scores here.
Now it looks like they spiked it on 1st down, so 2nd and goal. The clock stops with 2:37 left in the 4th quarter. York Pavilion, they find themselves down 10 points, but they are in a goal-to-go situation. Now it's going to be trips left. Kennedy takes, fires quickly to the end zone, diving to the ground. Looks like Riley Stella can't make the catch. Morling was all over him, and we are going to have a flag down. It's going to be pass interference on Andrew Morling. so that should be half the distance to the goal. It is half the distance to the goal, and I'm pretty sure it should be an automatic first down, but the down marker still says second. But anyways, that helps out York Pavilion there. Able to get a few extra yardage, and when you get down in the red zone, it becomes much harder to score, so every yard counts. Here's Kennedy gonna bumble up the middle, and he breaks the plane. Kennedy is in for the touchdown, so things getting a little interesting here with 2:27 left in the fourth quarter. York Pavilion now moves to 2-4 in the red zone in terms of scoring. And now here's the two-point conversion attempt. It is Kennedy, just a straight bowling ball up the middle there, and Canisteo-Greenwood helpless to stop it. Kennedy converts the two-point conversion, and that'll make it 14-16 with 2:27 left in the fourth.
Let's take a break, and we'll be back with the finale here as it's starting to get a little tight on the Redskins Radio Network.
Dealing with the loss of a loved one is always difficult. Let the H.B. Smith & Son Funeral Home help. They offer services to accommodate the needs of the families of our communities. Let H.B. Smith & Sons create the best funeral service or memorial service that your family desires. With 2 locations to better serve the community at 29 East Main Street, Canisteo, and 1607 Main Street, Woodhull. Give H.B. Smith & Sons a call at 607-698-4552. Clarity Wellness Community empowers people with care, connections, and support for a lifetime of choice. They know that emotional health matters. Emotional health problems affect 1 in 5 Americans in any one year, as many as all other diseases combined. Clarity is here to stand with you, hand in hand on your journey through wellness, and they have been since 1988. If you feel like you or someone you love could benefit from leading a healthier life, find out more information at their website, claritywellnesscommunity.org.
You're listening to Canisteo-Greenwood football on the Redskins Radio Network.
And we are back here as things getting extremely tight at the reservation as Canisteo leads 16-14 with 2:27 to go in the fourth quarter.
York Pavilion did just attempt an onside kick. It was recovered by CG at midfield, so with 2:27 left, York Pavilion is going to have to make a stand defensively.
I'd be interested to hear from Hunter what the feeling is down on the sideline right now. Is it that it's holding on to not lose at this point, or if they're still motivated and pumped up down there? Or sometimes you start to get nervous at this point, and you're not playing to win, you're playing not to lose, and you start to become a little conservative. But a great, a nice play there on first down there to get 9 yards. Now it's 2nd and 1.
Yeah, guys, the energy down here is pretty lively. The mentality of these guys is just one play at a time. They're looking at the next play. They don't focus on the mistakes at hand or even the given positive things at hand. They don't think about it that way. They just look forward to the next play.
More importantly, the clock running here, 1:45 to go, 2nd and 1 from York Pavilion's 41.
Here's Santiago under center. He's going to keep it himself on a quarterback sneak.
And this is where the offensive line comes in. You're just running the ball here. You're running the clock out, get a first down here. My guess is York Pavilion does probably not have any timeouts left. Oh, as I say that, I think they called one.
They did indeed call a timeout, so CG gets the first down. That's their 10th of the game, and the clock stops with 1:32 left. It's a tight one, 16-14 in favor of the Redskins.
Now we'll take a break right here on the Redskins Radio Network.
About 30 48,000 insurance agencies in the U.S. today, and using one who lives around here makes it more likely you won't be turned down on a claim. As opposed to someone online you may never see again, why not use Christy at the Hartman Agency, West Main Street in Canisteo? The Hartman Agency can give you the insurance you need for homes, rental properties, auto insurance for mobile homes, trailers, ATVs, snowmobiles, life insurance, and disability insurance too. The Hartman Agency Canisteo, they provide insurance for professional, business, and commercial needs. HartmanAgency.com.
The Italian Villa in Hornell, where you'll enjoy the best homemade Italian food. Serving up nightly specials, including Wednesday pasta night, Thursday chicken parm and team trivia, Friday fish any way you like it, and Saturday prime rib. The Argentieri family has been serving you homemade family recipes since 1958. And if you're looking for a banquet facility to hold that special party or meeting, consider the Italian Villa, 196 Seneca Street in Hornell, where you're treated like family. Reservations encouraged at 324-6063.
Hey, this is Rocky Santiago, and CG Football plays on the Redskins Radio Network.
And we are back here as we are winding things down.
First down, they just, CG just handed it off there, and a vicious hit by Andrew Edwards of York Pavilion is going to lead to an injured Redskin. That is Dale Hotailing getting up, looking a little disoriented there as he gets up. He took a monster hit from Andrew Edwards there on the first down play. So the clock will stop with an injury timeout at 1:24. That helps York Pavilion. But that was a vicious hit as Hotailing was just plastered in the backfield as soon as he got the football, and he is helped off to the sidelines. So he'll take a seat on the bench here next to Chase Weeks. As now they begin to wind the clock down. It is at 1:13 for the moment. Dale Hotailing had the touchdown reception on the final play of the first half. A little 4-yarder to make it 16-6. Now here's Santiago going to keep it himself, and he is dropped in the backfield. Looks like it was a designed run. Jacob Cook makes the play. So it'll be 3rd and long for CG.
Going to be all runs here because you don't want to throw the ball and risk an incompletion to stop the clock.
And now it looks like Perry's all out of timeouts as the clock is going to wind under 40 seconds left. Looks like CG might have to run one more play here.
And unless there is a fumbled snap and a Meadowlands miracle, looks like the Redskins are going to improve to 2-0.
Looks like Santiago's going to take a knee. And that one will do it. The Canisteo-Greenwood Redskins have defeated the York Pavilion Golden Knights by a score of 16-14. YP made it close at the end, but your Canisteo-Greenwood Redskins have prevailed. That will do it for this one.
Let's take a break. We'll come back with the postgame show next on AM 1480 WLEA and WLEA.net.
To the Fillmore Shop and Save for helping bring you sports. Reasons to shop at the Fillmore Shop and Save? The bakery, the fresh produce, the meats, the gift and greeting card selection, the gasoline pump, the ATM machine, the money order service at the counter. The Fillmore Shop and Save is a great grocery store in the Allegheny County town of Fillmore. Save at the register and at the pump with the Perks card. Taste the quality. Shop and save in Fillmore.
If you're driving in and out of Canisteo on Route 36, then you'll definitely... If you're driving in and out of Canisteo on Route 36, then you'll definitely see the vehicles on the lot at Canisteo Auto Mart, West Main Street in Canisteo. If you're not driving past the lot and you're wanting a quality car or truck, just go online to CanisteoAutomart.net. It's the easiest webpage, CanisteoAutomart.net. It simply lists what they have, and if you see something you want, click more and email the dealer. Canisteo Auto Mart, just down the road from high prices.
Caring for a loved one is hard. Let Elderwood help. Elderwood offers services for long-term care, assisted living and personal care, physical therapy and rehab, and specialty services. For more info, visit www.elderwood.com or call 607-324-6990. Elderwood.com.
Genesee Valley Agency in Arkport. At the Genesee Valley Agency, they feel the true difference between one insurance agency and another is not merely the insurance companies and the options offered, but the people they hire to take care of their customers. The Genesee Valley Agency in Arkport strongly believes that the way their customers are represented is a direct reflection of their business as a whole. They proudly serve over 10,000 customers in the Tri-County area.
This game is brought to you by Brian Shue, attorney at law. Brian Shue specializes in business and commercial law, criminal law, litigation, and appeals. If you need a great lawyer at an affordable price, contact Brian Shue at 607-324.
Now time for the post-game show with post-game reactions, analysis, and a complete wrap-up of the Canisteo-Greenwood football game. Here is Joe Lorian.
It's all said and done. It wasn't easy. Wasn't pretty at times, and then it looked slick at other times, especially right there at the end of the first half where they drove the field in 3 or 4 plays and put that score in and the 2-point conversion. Boy, Tanner, that really came back to play a big role in this game, because if they don't score at the end of that first half, they may not have won. Now, obviously, you play differently if you're not up 16-6 most of the second half, but it certainly would have been a much different complexion to the second half and maybe even the ending without that score.
Yes, I feel like it swung the momentum in their favor. They were able to carry over some of that momentum heading into the third quarter, and were able to move the ball pretty well there and chew up a lot of clock and keep the ball out of the hands of that York Pavilion offense. And like I said, swung momentum and, you know, maybe kind of demoralized that defense, being like, you drive down the field and, you know, less than 30 seconds, you know, a couple plays, like, what more can we do? So that kind of took the wind out of the sails of the York Pavilion defense, I feel like, and that ended up being pretty much the game decider. So Canisteo-Greenwood, credit to them for, you know, driving down the field, and, you know, when we thought it might be a better idea not to risk it, but sometimes they say you got to risk it for the biscuit, and that is exactly what CG did, and that might have been the game-winning decision right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Hunter Lee, any final thoughts from you?
I enjoyed the energy down here on the sidelines. It's my first time doing a sideline report in Canisteo. I had fun watching them run their own turf and pull this win out.
Yeah, it was a good fought win. Tense down there, I bet, there in that second half, especially there at the end. Great job, Hunter Lee. We'll see you next week as we go to Cuba Rushford, as the Redskins now improve to 2-0 on the season. Coach Keeley improves to 22-22 in his 6+ seasons now, and the Redskins are looking good going into week 3 as we get ready to sign off here. Oh, wait, and Hunter's got something. Let's go back down to Hunter Lee.
Hey, guys, quick questions here. Yep. I got Coach next to me.
Oh, okay. Yep, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. What was your impression on that 6-foot beast, 230-pound Kennedy? It didn't seem to stunch any in the game.
Yeah, I talked to him after the game, and I asked him, were you an offensive lineman last year? He said, yeah. I go, lineman's dream. He played well out there for never playing that position. He smiled, and he was hard to contain. Mm-hmm. He did a nice job from playing offensive line the year before and now playing quarterback.
Right. To stop his run game, did you do anything, articulate or, in depth to try to get him to run into a wall somewhere?
Well, we didn't do a very good job of stopping him for 3 quarters, so at the end, it was a matter of, I think, our conditioning was a little bit better, and we finally tackled, because the first 3 quarters he had our way with our defense. So we finally gut check time, you know, tackled and took care of business.
Right. I noticed, or not noticed, but we saw a few of your players get, you know, a little roughed up. Is that just part of the game, or was that worth willing to? Well, I mean, not worth willing, but you know, you gotta put your gut on the line and as these players and put them out, and they go out and do what their best every day for you.
Yeah. So a number of these guys, it's their first experience playing varsity football, so the speed's a little bit different than JV or modified, and so I think for some of them, I don't know if it's nerves and which contributes to other things in their body, but a couple hard hits too. You know, that's not the scout team that we're playing out there.
Right.
That's their first string. So, you know, they bring it, and I think we got punched around a little bit.
Right.
So.
Hey, I know you're now on to a 2-0 win streak. I got to speak with Santiago earlier about his first quarter interception, and he said he doesn't think about it in any kind of way. He thinks about the next play at hand. He doesn't think positive or negative about it. Is that a mentality that you try to, you know, teach to your players, or is that something that Santiago has developed?
Absolutely. No, that's something day one. You got to live to fight the next play, and you got to have a short memory in this game, because if you dwell on it, they're going to make the next play, and you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. So he throws an interception, he goes right out and throws a touchdown. So that's the type of player he is, but that's what we're trying to instill in this team. You got to have a short memory, because if you don't, you're done.
All right, and on that note, Coach, I'll congratulate you on your second victory of the season, and best of luck for you next week in Cuba. Appreciate it. Yep, have a good one.
All right. Thank you so much, Hunter Lee. Great job. And we'll chat with you next Friday. That does it for us. We're going to wrap up with our scoring and highlight montage. We'll leave you with that, and we'll chat with you next week as the Canisteo-Greenwood Redskins, who are now 2-0, travel to Cuba Rushford to take on the Rebels. You can hear that game right here on AM 1480 WLEA and online at WLEA.net. Here is your highlight scoring montage to close out the night in an exciting 16-14 Canisteo-Greenwood victory on WLEA.